Fantastic. So, once again, I will say welcome, welcome, welcome to the Pensato is hosting a tournament. I am Pensato, and I'm hosting a tournament, and that tournament is today. Welcome. We're actually running a little bit late, but we've got some amazing EU games for you today with MadMagical, A1 Twins, and Symeri casting. Special thanks to Spokane for sponsoring this tournament and offering a Theorycraft coins prize pool added to the $21 prize pool that I initially offered to the winners. We actually had so many teams sign up. Special thanks to the EU community for being so enthusiastic to just play more Supervive, especially with the EGL tournament yesterday. We've got so many people in lobby 2. In fact, we had so many people that we actually had to make 2 lobbies, 2 qualifier lobbies. So if you want to go watch your favorite players in the other lobby, we're only going to be able to cover 1 lobby today. I know Tom Kick is going to be streaming in the other lobby, so make sure to check him out. And I didn't hear from anybody else here that they were streaming, but definitely go and check to see if your favorite Supervive streamer is going to be playing there. To quickly sort out the rules, we've got 3 qualifier games and then 5 finals games. Every 2 games, the top 2 most played hunters are going to be banned for the rest of the tournament. So by the end of the finals, we will have 6 hunters banned. It's going to be so exciting seeing these teams cook up new strategies as more and more meta hunters get banned. But with that out of the way, let's jump straight into the games and to our casters. Everybody, take it away.
Them, so it's like Stevenator wants to try.
All you got this.
Hey! Guys, welcome in. It's the Pensato's hosting a tournament. I'm Magical.
I'm Twin A. I'm so excited.
Symeri, this is your turn to say hi.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
I'm excited about this.
I'm so pumped to be here right now. Not only is it Pensato and Spokane, two of my favorite people on the planet, two of the best supervisors to ever do it, working together, collaborating to host a tournament, but it is featuring some of the best teams. I will say all the best teams from Europe brought together for this contest, and I am here for it, especially right or following up EGL yesterday. You know, people are chomping at the bits to like take down the champs and see if they can redeem themselves from this in Abyssal Cup 2.
Yeah, I will say I find OC15 funny in chat saying I'm surprised Magical is alive. I am perfectly fine, thanks to lovely people like Twin who first got me drunk and then had me drink water afterwards. So I am doing fantastic today. It was a great birthday yesterday, and you know me, I love Supervive. I love casting it. We're back for some more, and because unfortunately for the birthday stuff, we didn't get to do a lot of EU. I'm really excited to be able to do more EU stuff. Missing EGL was a little bit sad, but I did hear from Reliq and a lot of the players of how a lot of that went down, and makes me really excited about the Pensato is hosting a tournament that we have going on today. There are going to be 2 lobbies, just so everyone knows. So you're not going to see all of the players playing just yet, but we do get to see quite a number of these really good teams and also exciting players to watch, because we've been paying attention to anything EU going to either EGL or Abyssal Cup a couple weeks ago. We know how many insanely talented players there are in EU alone. So it makes this super fun to watch.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm going to be full disclosure right now. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of Tom Kick and TTV. I've been an Aiden fanboy since early alpha, but I made a promise, and for this tournament, I am all aboard the choo-choo train with charged up. Although
You said,
I'm noticing,
wait, did you say train?
I did. Let's hear it. Yes, the choo-choo train. Now, they don't have Arcane with them today, but that is Baruf, Kakarot Cafe manager, and Dracos. Dracos, I've been watching a little bit more of recently. Absolutely brutal Celeste player. Wonderful human being, fun content creator. And so I just got to get that out of the way now. if you hear the bias for Chu today charged up, I promised them I would, and I'm a man of my word. Symeri, who are you looking at today? Any team that you're like expecting to do a little better than average?
Ooh, I mean, you mentioned most of them. Maybe SB, TC as well. You know, they're both really good teams, I would say.
Stormbreakers are so good, especially with Detberek, who had that play of the game in the final match of Abyssal Cup 2. So that is definitely two really good teams to keep your eyes on. I think we're just about ready to get into it, by the way. It looks like the players are getting antsy. It's one of those they're at the starting line just waiting for the pop to go so they can hit the ground running.
I mean, I don't blame them. Sorry, everybody. That is a little bit on me. I woke up maybe like 20 minutes before, and because I thought I had a lot more time, so I had it set for an hour and 20 beforehand, so I could get prepped. And then Twin and Pensato are like, "Oh, we start in 20 minutes." I'm like, okay. Let me go get ready as quickly as possible, so that way we can get into this one." So I do apologize to all the players. That is on me. But I'm very excited to be able to cast a lot of these games and cast a lot of these players. For our first lobby, as we were kind of talking about, Stormbreakers being in this one, going to be a lot of fun. Chu, I think, is another great one to shout out. 3LP, Aiden, Clarney, Shroom. That's going to be a really fun team to watch as well. I mean, across the board, I just look at teams and I'm just like, okay, that's a good team. Okay, that's a good team. Okay, that's a good team. But
BDY, Synoid, Rebel, Matrix.
right, exactly.
Terrifying.
I just BWB to Theo Sir, Dan Bridges, the Void God themselves there. So it's always fun to see that kind of team. I mean, I go down the list. I see that TC and Meki Mech, that's an exciting team too. FBI, Lingo. I'm not as familiar with Judaimi, but I know Zug Swag very well. And I know that's an exciting team to watch too. So just, you can pretty much turn your eyes anywhere and be like, that's a good team. That's a good team. And I feel like this is going to be an exciting way to start off our Pensato is hosting a tournament.
You are the drop leader.
You got this, Pensato. We see the tech, or we see the tech issues, and such is life. Uh-oh.
That's okay.
Resolve.
Go above.
No,
Go
we're
above.
gonna figure it out.
Go above. No. The easier way would. Okay, this works. This works.
That works. That works.
This
Yay!
works. This works.
So-
We take it. We take it.
W's. So there's one person that I'm especially looking out for, and it is in the wake of all the Jin nerfs, and that is Atomics. If you have seen any Zodag video, at least any recent one, there's 3 people that are constantly clipped. Tom Kick, Lemur, and Atomics. And in spite of the fact that Jin has the durability of a thin piece of paper or a napkin, he's still making it work. And watching his Jin just absolutely cook and cook some more yesterday. I've never spoken with this human being. I am an Atomics fan. So I really want to see this. And obviously, it goes without saying because it's the default, it's the free bingo space. We're all Synoid fans here. Synoid is phenomenal. As we get dropping in, I didn't see what the storm shift was, but I do notice we have
unstable portals. Unstable portals.
Ooh, let's go. Let's go.
So, Symeri, I kind of want to get your insight on a lot of this because obviously, being someone who is very well versed when it comes to EU with a lot of these teams, there's been quite a number of shakeups with a lot of our teams following the Abyssal Cup that we got to see going towards EGL yesterday. So how do you think this has kind of shifted up and shaken up the region so far?
I honestly think since yesterday's tourney, there's been I feel like a big potential like upset or like shake up in the meta, specifically like with these oath nerfs that have come in, and with that one like kind of potentially unintentional nerf to the subsequent damage, or the first rectangle damage doing 50% less as well. It's kind of reduced Oath's burst potential quite a lot. So, we saw like Hachi's team on Shy. They actually won that tourney, and they won it with the unconventional comp. They're running Saros, Myth, and Bishop. So, I think in the next couple of weeks the upsets are going to be even more grave than they were initially. So
right. I mean,
It's gonna
Bishop,
be
I think
interesting to
it's
see.
Bishop's about to start taking the mantle away from most overpowered hunter in the game that has been dominated from by Oath for a very long time. Brawl having that mantle beforehand. I feel like Bishop soon everyone's gonna realize just how strong that hunter is. But I'm looking at some of these other teams that we just saw right there. There are still a lot of these Oath players out there, and
Yeah,
Oath Bishop I think is going to be a big one that we're going to still see popping off and doing really well in a lot of these tournaments. But it wouldn't be EU without a bunch of Kingpin players, right? Like it
right.
feels like NA they aren't really as willing to index towards that Kingpin still, but EU they still have their aficionados when it comes to that hunter.
For sure.
So there's one thing I do want to point out though, that when it comes to these dominant hunters, Oath, Bishop, Myth, especially Carbine, as of late this tournament, we haven't quite covered, but it has a special rule set to it. And that is hunter bans are in play. If I'm not mistaken, it's every 2 games the most two played hunters are banned for the remainder of the tournament for a total of 6 bans
Yes.
at the end. As Stormbreakers want the smoke.
Trying to go for that. DC are punted backwards. Meki Mech, Luca trying to get away, but Cookie's in a bad spot, pinched from 2 sides, barely dashing back away on the other side of the wall from Meki Mech and Luca. But they have defended the team for now. Luca is trying to make sure that they are staying nice and healthy. Cookie's getting some health back. They could revisit the situation and look for another fight against SB, but SB still having control of Ion Acres. You can see that DC, they finally decide to fall back, no longer wanting that smoke.
It's one of those beautiful things to see at this high level play is people's survivability and knowing when they've overstayed their welcome. Both Cookies and Shin right there could have kept clashing, but there was so much at stake because they could throw away the entire first match if they overextended. So there was a little bit of respect there, some poking on the way out, and some backtracking as Aiden might be cut out here by Stormbreakers. Oh, what a good stun.
But we see that even though Stormbreakers might have had a bit of a good pick initially for Aiden, it's still hard with Oath. Aiden so good at that hunter, stays alive, the rest of the team defend, and then we look elsewhere on the map and we see there are always these potential early fights, but nothing really sticking for any one of these squads. Everyone kind of relenting the pressure, ready to migrate down south. It might be summertime for them, but I guess in Australia it is wintertime, and they are all starting to move down with the southern hemisphere as we have the first pick there on the lingo.
Beautiful pick. And I'm looking up here at the north, and it looks like Stormbreakers are actually positioning themselves to possibly cut off some escape routes that people have to take. We do see them moving a little to the right as LSD gets a pick of their own. I missed who it was against though.
So that OC, that one.
Oh, poor OC. Trying to play that Eva still. And I personally really like Eva. We all know I'm the Huddy player. Ooh, nice spike there from Gecko. But, you know, I will say, going back to what I was talking about, I love my Huddy, but Eva has been my fallback hunter to go towards. Outside of that, we got to look at this fight because TC still staring down against SB, ready to fight against them. And TC, even though it's been this slow movement for themselves, kind of going through Vein Grove, following back behind the Stormbreakers, neither of them wanting to fully commit to the full engage against one another.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it. I feel like Stormbreakers might have to be the EU main characters because it feels like they are involved in every single fight so far, save for this one with BDY. Like Stormbreakers, I don't know if it's just bad luck or good luck. They're running into everybody with their positioning. But then again, you want that early KP. You want those opportunities, and they are such a strong team that I know they're not afraid of anybody in this region.
So, Symeri, kind of looking at this, how would you quantify like SB, at least in this lobby, compared to all of the other competition? Like, are they the main characters of EU at the moment?
Then they're not far off it. I would honestly say like yeah, with that tourney, I think it might be shy at the moment, but you know SB had that big moment of glory with their Depth Break, especially as Twins mentioned. But I'd say yeah, it's probably between those two at the moment. And there's obviously TRF. Who else is there? I'd argue like yeah, that is the main trio almost. And you see some glimmers from like 3LP as well, which is Aiden's team.
Like, and that's the thing. It's so funny, kind of looking at the history of EU and how it's been, because as we see on the kill feed, SB getting a good fight against Kit, taking down the Kit and Carnage, only leaving the one remaining player. But we see a lot of fights all over the map so far, but just kind of finding these stragglers, these ones that are caught off from the rest of the team. No one been wiped just yet. Every single squad still available to fight, but as we are losing a lot of our real estate going into night 2, this is where things are starting to get risky, especially because we are down in Scavenger's Bay and Skyrat's Run. So there is not a lot of real estate to play with. You are playing mostly with Abyss.
QTS is kind of pinched right here by BDY and Dark Green on the left. Chu charged up. They have to make a move, and they choose to fight.
QTS wanted to go against Birthday Squad, but Birthday Squad able to hold on strong. They brought back up Sinoid, so they're going to be perfectly fine down south. QTS will leave the vicinity, but we see that Chu still hanging out down there for Roof being the one to lead the charge. But Chu have to be careful because they are getting surrounded at the moment. TFR are nearby. They could start to show up and try to contest this Stalker Soul. Well, Birthday Squad want to do the same, but instead, I thought they would actually look for the fight. They just put up the wall, say, whatever, you can have that for now. We'll just hold on to one of the crystals, maybe even help out a little bit until QTS shows up out of nowhere. Choipy did not want to ride that bullet into the fight. Chu still in control of the beast so far.
I don't know if that was a miscommunication. That Bishop just got deleted. What a turnaround right there to just keep them in a good position to keep fighting for that Night Stalker soul. And there's already a crown on the map with it looked like about 20 seconds left. Don't worry, I lost where I went to. But
TFR are the ones that have it right now. Our French squad here, Atomic's wearing it as well. So I think once teams realize who has that crown, they're kind of like, okay, you know what? We're not going to give any more of those montage real moments to Atomics. We'll let them have it for now. Everyone else is kind of falling back. We see that Chu do grab themselves the Night Stalker Soul, while 3LP fighting against the Bridges with Benefits, sir, over and trying to survive. Keeping BWB alive for now, but only a Shiv against the world. Going to be difficult to fight back against everyone.
I just want to point out, you said Charged Up got that soul. It cost them 2 members to get that. They were losing the fight, and their last member had to escape. But speaking of not escaping, OC15 loses the EVA battle to Fall from Grace, plus 2 companions right there. OC once again knocked. But it's still early enough that they have their options. They have means of getting back. Stormbreakers with their fresh soul looking to maybe engage right here.
The Bon Bullion Bull. How do you say that? Bon Bullion Bulliet? Is that how you say it? The BBB squad right there. They got blasted off of their own base camp, but they'll be perfectly fine. And we go back over to Chu. That is the one thing. Baroof was the one to survive. Pretty easy respawn beacon to find for Chu down here. They're going to be perfectly fine with a nice pull Abyssal Breaker combo. But, sir, avoiding danger for so long until the hammer flew out of nowhere to find the spike.
That was such a good pick right there. Dashing back just enough to get the mantle. As we see right there, Aiden able to get the shield up because of a slight delay on the dunk right there. Let's 3LP, and they keep wanting this in spite of the Bebo boombox, in spite of the powers and the equipment relatively even, but Aiden's kind of getting pushed away.
Train, gotta be careful. Almost finds the knock. A nice Eye of the Storm. They try to snap away with the Fate Rewinder for 3LP. 2v2. Aiden with the spike into the wall, but no confirmed kill until FBI out of nowhere take down Neox, and then the fight backwards as Clarny could not get revived. 3LP forced to use the boombox early to try to see if they can bring back up Clarny and have an easier fight against FBI.
Oh, caught them sleeping. Aiden with a little bit of stealth right there. The push right into the spiked wall, just enough to get them up. And yeah, that third party right in there. Aiden did a good job getting Clarny back up with a built-in Guardian Angel. But we saw Dan Bridges, you gotta run, but that's Dead Barek from the top rope with the people's elbow. to send you packing. That was a beautiful ult. Go back to what I said. I appreciated how Aiden was able to get the revive off, steal the boombox as their prize from the prior fight, reactivate it. All these little micro decisions that are tough to make when in the face of that kind of pressure. It just shows Aiden's experience in this game.
And now 2 teams gone. We've lost Kitten Carnage first, and then after that, we had another team to join them. Unfortunate there, but it is going to be about how teams can play from now. 10 squads still remaining. Everyone have all their players there, as Atomics was hoping to get that pull with the bungee shot, but nothing to throw it onto. So we'll fall back instead, and we see how teams are starting to move around. As we talked about before, our storm shift is the unstable portals. No one really taking advantage of that just yet.
Check this out. 3LP able to come back stronger than ever. They've got great armors, but they're up against the team with armor shredders. And in spite of that, Aiden's not afraid. 3LP, I forget what the team name is. I apologize. I just remember it made me laugh. But it's kind of that
Three
like...
Little Pigs.
Three little pigs. Thank you. This is that unstoppable force with the armor meets the immovable object with the armor shredder built in. And so I like their little poking game right here, just trying to more or less, neither wants to fight. It's just saying you're not allowed to cross this line. Like if you do, it's going to cost you. And they both have to like respect the other team's position in that sense or situation.
And that's why I'm looking towards like how teams are moving around, because we have so many squads still here. We see the birthday squad kind of stuck here in this vault. They saw Bubba's brains inside the corrupted zone. They want to be able to take that for themselves, but at the moment, they're waiting it out while Drama Brawl, not realizing FBI have honed in on your position. LSD is going to be difficult for them to get out. They are looking to see if they can pull the trigger onto this Brawl, but Brawl gets out of there with a nice chain away. Trying to dash back. I don't know where you're going to go from here. There's not looking like any good retreat angle, especially because your team is down south. You went north.
That was such a close ult, and they have to be thanking. Oh no, OC! You got to run, my guy.
Ooh.
Oh, narrowly
Nice.
dodging that. And once again, it's that game of like missing by the smallest fraction, and that's all the difference. Oath missed the ult on Brawl by just a hair. They missed the hook by just a hair, and those little interactions that they could come back to cost you, because that's somebody else that'll be a thorn in your side as this circle gets smaller and smaller here.
And Stormbreakers find themselves in the middle of so many squads, surrounded right now by 3 different squads. You got the French Raccoons, 3 Little Pigs, and there's even one more team
Charged
up north.
up.
And then we see that Chu is here as well. It's going to be difficult, but BBB, LSD, they're going to fight it out early. They've already lost Lev, Brawl, had the chains connected, but here comes FBI
party.
to help out, taking down one more. BBB might be alive for now, but they're in a rough spot. Backs to the storm, try to take the anomaly away, but a dunk from LSD will remove one more team from the list. As we look down south, the team that's been locked in the vault for a while, Birthday Squad, barely gonna survive. While TC, the cookers, are looking to see if they can cook themselves up something up fresh here. Maybe a birthday cake. While Birthday are still locked there, forced to
Thomas is
use
down.
the Abyssal Breaker aggressively, but beckoned to drag back in Sinoid as they get locked in. It's a trade 1-for-1. Stormbreakers making it rough, though. Matrix trying to get back, but he is gone. It's only Revel getting away with Phase Walk, while Stormbreakers pushing back. While they might have been able to revive one, the cookers are in a bad spot, and the Stormbreakers looking to see if they can break open this game.
Here comes Charged Up. Oh no, they're in such a bad spot with 2
Cookers.
teams, 2 strong teams.
Dashing everywhere. They've lost Cookies. Luca now going to be the next one. It's only Meki Mek who is able to survive, while Chu in a bad spot. Birthday Squad taken down by QTS, while Brawl holding on to the crown. Catgirl Cafe Manager now having a crown for Chu too. So a lot of these teams now forced to rely on their heroes and get an MVP play to bring back up the teams.
I just want to point out one very subtle thing right there. Draco swears by level 4 shift on Celeste, and it saved his life there because he shifted into a dunk and the ice was beneath him to keep him in this fight and keep Charged Up actually viable in this. As FBI, again, ever the opportunist, the Celeste ult comes out. Here
For the
comes the hook, and
pull?
is this it?
Almost found it as we see that drama brawl was hoping to get another play too, but with the bungee shot connected, 3LP pushed back to make sure they help LSD find themselves down in the dirt as well. While Cat Girl Cafe manager was looking for a play themselves, but here come the rest of the teams. Pokeball sent out, a minute left, missing with the blast off, but with the storm right there, another squad gonna be eliminated by the Storm Breakers.
An enemy oracle is scanning.
Just rock meets hard places. There was nowhere to run. They covered the little piece of land you had. The abyss hurts too much, or the storm hurts too much, and you had to run over the abyss. Valiant effort, but I think their teammate got spiked by a chonker right there. I couldn't quite tell. That was a devastating moment for Charged Up, and I appreciate them clearing out this mini wall right here.
Atomics. Oh man, Atomics just dashing through everybody, going past pretty much every squad outside of QTS, while Minato is gonna find themselves up against that squad I was just talking about, trying to dash back. Minato with the Fusillade getting a lot of damage, but unfortunately surrounded by too many, gonna be taken down. And now Storm Breakers, they look to see if they can help out with the low health on QTS. They get rid of OC15. Joy P going to be separated from Campo, but Campo is going to be taken down by FBI. It feels like a lot of these teams just getting whittled down as the three little pigs will remove the French raccoons, and then Shin will find FBI. They got Zug first. They look to see if they can get rid of Oath, leaving only Lingo, and then 3LP. They try to fight back against Storm Breakers, but they are retreating, trying to heal Shin back up first before they look for the full fight.
That might have been the one chance to slow down or stop Stormbreakers, who have been more or less unstoppable. They have the armors, they have, they have the souls, and they have everything going their way. FBI looking really strong.
A lot of damage on a Choi Fee, but here's the health packs, and then Choi Fee looking for damage. Lingo no longer having that ult. It's going to be rockets against shots, and it's going to be the blast back with the percussive burst. Then the blast off missing. Lingo nearly winning. He chases down, brings back FBI, while the three little pigs fight against the Storm Breakers. They've lost Aiden. The blast off back, but they've been able to hold the wall strong. Storm Breakers still locked into this fight. They don't want to let Aiden get back up, and they lose Gecko 4 because they played too aggressively. Overkill rounds will find Aiden on the other side as FBI at the brink of defeat, back in the fight, but they've got Oath surrounded by too many. That's why they decide to go back and look to see if they can remove 3LP. While the Storm Breakers have been holding strong at their base. Clarity pushing back Lingo to survive a little bit longer, but no health for this myth. It's going to be tough. That's why Geode tries to see if they can dash back onto them. Clarity now seeing the Storm collapse on their position. They get pushed into the storm, eliminated by FBI.
I love the wall right there, the Oath Shield saying, I don't have to hurt you, I just have to make sure you don't pass. And again, the two teams have been opportunistic this entire time, picking their battles, finding the fight. They go into it now for who is going to take home the grand prize of the first game.
Taking Lingo first, and now with the boombox put down, it's all onto one, and there's no crown, no hope. The Storm Breakers have been the team to defeat. They are the main characters of this lobby, and they will take game one.
Again, it was two teams that just kept picking their little fights. FBI hiding in that bush, going after the brawl, picking their third parties. Stormbreakers, some kind of like rough goes early on where they were just finding everybody, it seemed. But again, they played the Battle Royale format. They waited for those third-party opportunities. They repositioned. They know macro over micro any day, and they just picked their spots so carefully, both two teams. Now, FBI fought hard, but I think they knew the writing was on the wall, and they just wanted to eliminate Clarity right there, get those extra points, and then just say, like, okay, we're going to go out kicking and screaming, but Stormbreakers was just too strong.
They held the perfect position, too, for that storm, that little choke point there at Skyrats, where everyone had to kind of play into them, and it felt really difficult to remove them from that stronghold they had set up for themselves. And we saw how many teams tried to see if they can uproot them and just failed to do so. So Symeri, kind of giving you a little bit of time to talk on this one, like looking at those games. Stormbreakers, they end up being the main characters and take this first game. Are there, like, can we start seeing some of these teams really remove them from being that favorite to win this first lobby?
I mean, once the bans start coming in, I'm not sure if Deprek is known, or at least in the modern era, like if he's known on any other characters. So if a Bishop ban comes in, based on the picks, we're going to see like how SB, modulate around that ban, and I think there's maybe some other teams that have a similar sort of scenario as well. Um, but yeah, in terms of it, at least SB, like these are like like you said, the king of this lobby potentially. That might take them down a peg potentially. So we're gonna have to see, how they switch it up.
So let's just we're expecting Bishop to be banned for after the second game because it's going to be after 2 games. The 2 most played hunters are the ones getting banned. So Bishop, like 99% likely to be one of the bans, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would say it's harder to pick that second one because, as you talked about, the nerfs to Oath's damage that he used to have when it came to the burst from Abyssal Breaker might be gone, but he's still
Yeah.
a very good wall for a lot of these teams to rely on. But we didn't see that many Oaths in this lobby. Yes, there were some, but we also saw a lot of Shivs. We saw a lot of, like, not a lot, but a decent amount of Kingpins, a decent amount of Jins. So, like, looking at what we might end up seeing in the future, Bishop and it's going to be really close between that second one on which one is going to be banned initially. I think afterwards, like, if it's not Oath, there'll be 2 more games. And then after that, I think that it is going to be that ban onto Oath. Like, that's just going to be what happens once Bishop is gone. Everyone's going to go, okay, let's kind of go back to what had worked in the past. But I'm really curious to see how these things are going to shake up for a lot of teams. As you're talking about, Symeri, like, that Breck, what do you got outside of that Bishop? What else can you play here, especially as we start introducing bans?
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm actually really looking, excited to see like what he swaps onto. Like I know, for example, on SB, like Gecko and Shin, we've seen them on other
Course.
characters. Shin used to be known for his Shiv, and now he's on Carbine. And Gecko, we've recently seen him do really well in scrims on Kingpin. But I guess both Kingpin and Oath get banned, then it's getting really spicy in terms of
Right.
Gecko's opportunities. But I know that way back when, I think he used to play Jewel, in fact. So we're going to start to see those really unconventional picks towards the latter phase of this tournament. So.
And I was looking at what we had right there, and so we have a lot of carbines, a lot of myths. These are also great options to join Bishop on the ban list. I'm curious to
Yep.
see how this is going to go into our game and how teams are going to start adapting towards a lot of those as we are here on the breach. We've got everyone loaded up. We saw where everyone is diving early on, and early on at site 38, we already saw that there's possibly the Cookers fighting early on, but did decide to fall back, not wanting to actually look for the smoke up against 3 little pigs.
So real quick, I'm going to step away this match so I can eat some breakfast. Some Mary, you're my
Yep.
goat. You've got this.
Yep.
But I did count. I was trying to do like a brief count of the hunters, and there are 4 oaths in game 2.
Yeah, I can't
So-
the same.
So oath ban is back on the menu, boys.
Looks like TC take that.
I will say, I'm glad he mentioned that, right, Symeri? But I counted 5 myths. So that's
Ooh.
why I'm very curious. I didn't get a chance to count all the carbines too. So this is where things can get spicy on what is going to join Bishop on the bench, because we are expecting it. Like, it's very likely that Bishop to be the one that is banned away. But what is going to join past that is really the interesting thing to keep in mind for a lot of our players, because Carbine could be in that conversation. Like I said, Myth is definitely going to be up there. Oath. We have 3 contenders towards what is going to be banned after this game.
I can't wait for it. I think that's when we're going to see like the just everything just almost either falls apart or everything just harmonizes even more. Like someone finds that secret pick that's been chained away in the basement forever and finally unleashed.
And I mean, I don't think we'll see it. I would love to see it, some Hudson play, but after the mini rework that he just received, I know a lot of people have been saying that he feels very weak, and I happen to agree with that one. Well, we see Kitten Carnage fighting against QTS, winning early on. Choipi pushed over the abyss, but
that escape.
not going to land that last arrow to be able to take down more members of QTS. They've been able to fall back for now. OC15 should be able to heal him up. He even leveled up just in time to make sure they can fight back against Kitten Carnage, who tried to go for the revive. Nice done! Getting the max range to land on a crouch. leaving only one. This Myth trying to fight back. Kitten Carnage surrounded. Oh no! First eliminated in game 1. First eliminated in game 2.
And Shichi's just there, like all of his team is completely dispersed, and he just manages to find that right at the end.
Yeah, I feel bad for Malik on that one because you're like, oh, we got this fair fight, the 2v1, I can win this one. Ends up not being the case, got third party, and then we look at our team that got eliminated second last time around as they're fighting against BBB. Theo is down, and Dan, the last one. Void trying to escape and has been able to successfully juke away. But BBB could continue to hunt this Void. It will take some time as we look at another fight. The Cookers and Stormbreakers, kind of like what happened in game 1. They meet up early again, but doesn't actually amount to too much as DC are able to rejoin, revive the team, keep themselves back on their feet.
Need to look at some money here because Campo's not bought yet either, so I think they had some sort of rough early game fight, and they're just trying to restabilize, but it looks like LSD are hot on the tail here on Campo.
LSD had moved up towards Frag Isle. Campo just got revived. Might be able to take one with them. Percussive burst over the abyss, dodging away from the
There's no
anomaly.
way.
Campo, no
Oh.
way. There it is. Chi-Chi making sure that it's a 1-for-1 trade while we go over to the other side in Chaos Steps on train. Chu will hop aboard the choo-choo train to escape the battle against the French Raccoons.
Yep, looks like we've got BBV with the reset as well, which is good.
Yeah, they were hunting. They were hoping they could find Dan, but I think Dan was able to escape through the storm. You know, we see all the way down there that they have gotten the revive, so BWB will be fine for now. They're back in this game, but they are going to be battered and bruised as they move through Wraith's Row trying to get into the circle.
We see shards on the cards here for Night 1 boss. And let's see what the other one was. We've got Endless Reaper and Replicator as well. So
Ooh,
good
okay.
stuff there.
And Replicator, when you already have a nuke and a Tonkers too,
Yeah,
I think the French Raccoons are going to be very happy about that one.
And it depends how greedy they go for it, right? Because well, I'm not sure if it still works this way with Replicator, but can you replicate Endless Reaper nowadays?
I think you can. As long as it's on the floor, I believe you can.
Okay, yeah, because they're also
think
going to
if
get
you-
the money from the boss and then also potentially double. So
Yeah, I have to think about it again because it's one of those things. I remember you used to be able to, like, as long as it's on the floor, but I can't remember if they patched that since then to make it, because it's meant to be, obviously, you know, powers is what you are replicating.
yeah.
I think as long as it was on the floor, you're able to replicate it. But right now, the French Raccoons are going to have time as they fight against FBI. Lingo
Ooh,
took
tree
the
combo
bit
coming
of
out.
damage, and then Minato takes 1 damage too. Trying to dash forward with a burst, but now in a bad spot. It is the battle back, getting a lot back into the back line as Atomics and Minato continue to chase. What a tree combo, though, to take down Minato. The French Raccoons now in a bad spot. They will lose Minato. They try to get him away from the Wisp, but TFR are going to have to retreat. The Heart no longer going to be your salvation as they try to get away from FBI. FBI, they'll be fine for now, but with the storm collapsing so quickly, that's why they're making sure that they're being safe about how they approach the situation. And BWB came out of nowhere hoping to see if they could punish any teams getting themselves into the circle.
Oh, it's like a continuous ongoing fight here. Oh, does Spy get recognized? Yeah, he gets caught out. Okay.
Yeah, but he is over the heads of everybody. Stormbreakers, 4th party to the 3rd party to the fight that had happened previously. And unfortunately for the French Raccoons, it's going to be Atomics back onto your shoulders as the lone Jin to keep TFR in this game.
Going to see like we've got the soul spawning in 30 seconds as well. So I'm expecting a lot of teams to converge on, especially on the middle one. Sure.
Damage and Shrapnel Soul.
Yep.
Very strong combo. So if one team's able to get 2, have to imagine that is going to be the team to beat, as we still have 11 squads. Only Kitten Carnage has been eliminated. And kind of going at how a lot of these teams are fighting early on, we have had more of these fights right there. The Cookers were able to get rid of Bullion. So BBB down 1 player. They can move around, but they got to figure out a way where they're going to be able to regroup to fight back.
So likely to get off Kobarez, I think, as the team down south
How long? We got
QTS
15 seconds until daybreak.
daytime.
So
Yeah.
they should be fine. I think even if they want to go for it right now, we see that an early stick to the core should be able to revive the team once more. A lot of these teams fighting as kind of what we saw in game one, right? Where there was a lot of these early skirmishes, but hard to actually confirm any team wipes. Like for Kitten Carnage, they got put in a really rough spot. They had this fight against QTS. It was really close, and then they got third party. But here, the fight over damaged soul. The first spike was onto Aiden as the soul is collected by the cookers. They'll be perfectly fine for themselves while we saw the three little pigs scatter to the winds. No wonder wanting to fight against the big bad wolf that they had themselves up against TC.
And just looking at the powers as well, like Chu are looking really strong here. They've got a lot of powers, especially Yui, aka Cat Girl, with the glider jets. It's going to be really, really like powerful. He always likes playing those like high mobility type of powers, just to try and catch someone off guard with a hook.
Ooh, here we go. Into
Fire.
town. Fire. Got the attention of the guards trying to hide away, getting blocked, but still taken down. And even with this revive that Minato is attempting, the guards are still honed onto fire. You're healing up for a while. Blast away. We'll get out of Kobayashi's, but guess what? Clarny was waiting on the other side, missing the first arrow, but not the second one. While the French Raccoons try to fight their way out of there, the damage that is thrown back at them by 3LP makes it difficult, and the French Raccoons are going to have to be down a player yet again.
Yeah, we've seen that final destination starting to become important here, especially between these two islands. I think we're going to see a lot of teams try and migrate their way to the north side. We're going to see how that pans out. You know, there's 11 teams left. That is a lot for a circle that's going to become this small with not that much playable space, to be honest.
Exactly. It's kind of wild to see some of these final destination spawns where you think it's going to be like right in the center, right? That's more likely where you'll have a lot of the territory that you can play, but it feels like at least with scrims or a lot of these tournaments, a lot of these final destinations have been honing in more on the edges of the map, which allow for some of these really fun positions for these players to have to play in, because as you talked about, Symeri, there are 11 squads still remaining. They got all fight for control. Sinners Embrace trying to drag him back in with a beckon, but they've already lost the player. It's going to be a trade with a pullback BBB. They're the team that had to scatter away. While QTS, they might lose Choi P. At least they didn't get fully broken like BBB. While we go up north into Don Caps, LSD have taken control away from SB.
Really good stuff from them. Just looking at most wanted, we've got like 1 crown potential there. So I think as we start to see some stragglers, you might see some desperate plays for that one.
Speaking of desperation, Sinoid back over the abyss, trying to get back to their emergency platform they've set up for themselves all the way outside, hoping to survive. While LC, the team that has been in control of Doncast for quite some time, fighting against Bridges with benefit, sir, dashing everywhere, and will have to dash away because the team deciding to fall back, wanting control of the outskirts and circumference of the zone. While we have teams that are slowly pushing out of Kobayashi's. BBB, they might have been able to get the res off, but they're in a bad spot. They're surrounded. They've got damage. They found the spike on the Zug, but it's going to be another team, two this time, collapsing onto Bullion, throwing down the hammer to eliminate our next squad.
Oh my god, what happened right side as well? Gecko last one alive with the tree combo. He's got the res just south side, but just it depends. I guess BWB didn't want any more of that. He might get that res off for free.
Teams, if they realize that SB are so battered right now, they could all push down towards that oath, but there are still 9 squads remaining. Well, 2 got eliminated in quick succession right there. Doesn't matter. There's still a lot of players and a lot of teams left. And that's why right there, they make the play. They heard the siren. They knew that Gecko was trying to revive the team from first place. Now, 9th place that is contending for Gecko. Might survive for a little bit longer, but where do you go from here?
Oh, this right in the center of about 5 or 6 teams at the very least. And there's lots of prying eyes potentially eyeing up. Let me see Cookies. I think he can maybe peer over at that. I mean, he's got the ambush as well, so might give him a bit of extra survivability. But Aiden finds him now. He's gonna have to go over to the left-hand side. And just as Cookie looks away.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of timing is that? Holy.
Right? Because if they had noticed Gecko's there, that could be damage and shrapnel soul for the Cookers and put them in a position of power, as they might have to start peeling back towards their base camp. Cookies, a little bit too aggressive. Chew, try to see if they can punish, but unfortunately could not collapse back. But TC will kite backwards, and with Gecko there, already the French Raccoons trying to take control of the base camp. Missing Sinner's Embrace, but with the Tonker Cannons already throwing down, making it difficult for either team to fully engage against one another.
Yep, we're just getting most wanted pickup as well. 150 roughly on Campo. He's got this little kind of top side to play on. But I think Sinnoh's team is just to the left of this, but don't know if they're going to see this or not.
Uh-oh. Birthday Squad nearly were able to find that, but they got all these emergency platforms on both sides of the equation. Here's going to be the napalm to get them off of their platform they thought was safe. Same with the mortar, making it difficult for them to actually land back onto their little platform. See how much damage they're taking every single time they try to step onto it. Joyfee already down below 50. LSD looking for the play with a bungee to drag back in Joyfee as Joyfee gets spiked by the chain. Campo barely clinging to land.
1 minute 10 now, and I think Sinnoh's team really needs the levels here. So if they can get one of these spikes, it might get them back in the game a bit.
They're all looking for Campo, but Campo playing well with the rings and an anomaly combo, but didn't realize Baroof was there to take out QTS.
Ooh, unfortunate for them.
So now 8 remain. Somehow SB being one of them. Gecko, ratting for now, trying to keep the team alive while we look elsewhere. 3 Little Pigs push back the French Raccoons. We've had many lives in this game alone and able to resurrect the team several times. And then the 3 Little Pigs push back Dan Bridges' team, getting Sir first. Dan is over the wall, but Theo did not want to engage, especially because they see that LC were on the other side, unable to grab the wisp, nor getting Kingpin. So Theo instead trying to stick to bring back the team, but has to bail eventually. It was too difficult with too many teams surrounding your position, and Theo now alone against 3 Little Pigs. Chase to the very edge, even with the slam back onto Aiden. You have to figure out where to go from here into the storm briefly. Well, SB still have Gecko as he tries to avoid the ire of every team. A crown picked up by Theo, which he's looking for the dunk, but not going to be able to get it onto Gecko. Gecko instead going to be the prize that 3LP look to collapse back to remove one more team.
Oh, it was a good attempt, all things considered. I think sometimes you have to take those calculated risks, you know. If you get that miswanted pop and your whole team's dead, you're back in the game. But,
we even saw that another team got eliminated by LSD right there. That was our birthday squad. So Sinoid by birthday twin got eliminated, unfortunately. As we see Bridges with benefits to join them too. Luca has been revived, knocked down, revived, knocked down again, and then Mecky Mech in a bad spot, collapsed by 2 squads, looking for 1 Kingpin. Will leave only Cookies alive. Carbine to try to fight against the world, but thankfully for them, Chew was looking towards the 3 Little Pigs, and LSD was looking to see if they can re-engage as well, but everyone's going to fall back for now. A crown play could be what's left up for Cookies.
you know, how he plays this one out, he's got the pad out straight away, and he's probably looking for that potentially, but Aiden's going to force him off it for now.
Yeah,
it looks
he's
like
just
Cookies
pushing him
is
into the
likely
storm.
dead. Yep, unless he's
It's
got
so
scale.
difficult to get a... Oh! And he was able to survive, so he might be able to pick up this crown from the base, but Chew say, no way, you're not getting that easily. Cookers into the storm, and then the anomaly, not your safety. Shield isn't enough for the scale, the hammer to knock down the Cookers. 4 squads left, with the French Raccoons, the one that have had 3 lives so far in game 2. They hold on with a nice anti-mobility field and Tonker combo. Nobody's going to be able to enter into their fortress.
And as the circle gets smaller, you know, Void's potential, you know, to get like a 3-man just increases, you know, as the circle keeps closing in. So I'm hoping that LSD get like a big one here. But massive fight's going on instead. So that was
Chu
between
thought they had
Chu.
this pick. They had the pull, but it was only baiting them into that one. Because, yes, you get Aiden, but you lost 2 for it. So, Baroof, the last one left for Chu, trying to get the revive onto Dracos, while Monato's going to fall on the other side to LSD.
Oh,
Two fight
Shroom.
simultaneously. Chu are the one that lose to the 3 little pigs and the French raccoons, struggling against LSD over the wall. Their fortress cracked. That's 2 squads now remain. 3 LP. Only with 2 of the little pigs to fight against the big bad wolf that is LSD, who've been controlling Dawn Caps this entire game. And Clarny Shroom, hoping that they could survive and find a nice pick onto anybody. Lev above them. They've honed in on their position. Phase while Clarny might be able to escape, but it left out to dry. Shroom with a crown for Clarny. On the other side, with the help of the base camp, I don't know what kind of miracle you need right now. Lands 1 arrow, but nobody's going to follow it up. Instead, they were attempting a recall. Clarny now against Shichi. They're allowing the 1v1 duel for now with the summon Napalm combo. The rest of the team charge forward to take game 2.
Man, what an end game fight. I feel like LSD played that really well in terms of pacing. 3LP looked like they were on the up there, but I feel like maybe Shroom should have just bought the most wanted instantly just after Aiden had died, and they just kind of cleared up Chu's team. But instead, he tried the box res. I'm not sure if you can do that when LSD are just closing in on you like that. But good stuff, by the way, from LSD.
Very well done. And for this one, LSD, we saw very early on they had dropped up in the north. Dawn Caps and Frag Isle, that had been their home the entire game. They knew the final destination because that was the storm ship of where it was going to go. And they fought every team that tried to contend against them in that area. Allowed them pretty much to win pretty convincingly. And now I'm going to be really curious to see as we are moving into game 3. So after 2 games each time, we are going to have bans. So we need to make sure we figure that out. I'm expecting Bishop to be the number 1 ban, but it's what follows Symeri that is going to be the real question for us. Like, what is going to join Bishop onto the bench going into game 3? Twin, you too. I'm curious to hear your thoughts because I was theory crafting myself. There are a couple options. I think there was a good shout out. I think it was Pensato saying that Eva is another one that we have to kind of look towards.
So one thing that the 3 of us don't have access to is the picks from Lobby 2, which will affect the bans for the entire tournament. And I can't help but think that this is just my like shot in the dark here. I think it's going to be Oath Myth right out the gate that gets banned. I think it's not going to be Bishop right away, but those 2 instead. And again, that's just one of those like just a hunch going with my gut on this one. But if it is Bishop, then it's got to be Oath or Myth that's going next. And have to pick, I'd say Myth.
Yeah, Myth has to be like top contender for sure. Like for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is difficult because I think there are a lot of hunters that we have to look at. Like one that could surprise us and kind of sneak their way in is Shiv. There are a lot of teams that were playing that as well, and I mean that as you were talking about, Twin, I think that's a good shout out. Is that it's not guaranteed that it's going to be Bishop. All this stuff is just kind of us guessing, looking at the games, and figuring out exactly which one it's going to be. But there are a lot of hunters that are played kind of across the board. That's why I said Eva, I think, is a really good shout out by Pensato. And saying that that is something that could potentially get banned. Maybe not in this round, but definitely the second round. A lot of these healers probably are going to end up getting banned going into our games 5 and 6. So I want to see how that will get affected and how our meta is going to shift away from some of these more defensive combos where you're trying to hold down and lock down a position and then just get the full on. No, we have to fight. We have to constantly look for pressure because we are too weak to hold a position because we are very squishy.
Truth.
Yeah,
And I'm just I'm looking at information from the best of the best to do it. That is Reliq, saying that scrim data suggests Carbine, Oath, Myth, and possibly Bishop. It's one of those, if I'm getting data from you, I'm going to give you the credit and the shout outs you deserve. So shout outs to Reliq for that information. But I also almost wonder if some people are trying to roll the dice and maybe not always play their mains, hoping that they could save them for the end. But that's its own kind of series of gambles, and I don't know if anybody's willing to take that risk early on. Symeri, you're a little more ingrained with the European scene than I am. Did it look like anybody was not potentially on their mains?
No, I think the vast majority of people were on their mains. I was also thinking the same, like maybe we'd kind of see a little bit of noise to kind of mess up the the ban numbers or the numbers to
I did
tally
think
up for the
that going
ban,
into
yeah.
game 2. That's what I was thinking. Like game 1, they all play their mains. Game 2, that's when they really try to change it up. But as you were talking about, Symeri, I kind of saw the same. It looked like
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
was just on their main going into game 2.
I mean, it kind of makes it play more favorably because I feel like if people are trying to game the system, I think it would still probably even out maybe by like the second phase of bans at least. You can't evade your main eventually being banned. I feel if it's like one of the contested ones.
And on top of that, just thinking about it too, if you do evade your main, hoping they won't get banned, and you lose because of it, but your main gets banned regardless, then you just threw away possibly those points to tournament,
Yeah,
etc.
exactly.
So fair enough. Now, something I want to discuss. I believe it's only 3 games to make it to the final 6 matches. Pensato, correct me if I'm wrong there, but if that's the case, Stormbreakers, all of a sudden their spot might be a little more vulnerable with that 9th place in this game.
Let me double check.
That definitely sounds correct to me. Sorry, I'm just helping.
You're good.
Keeping an eye out for the message for what the play rates were. Yeah.
So
I was keeping an eye on Lobby 2 as well, and there
Right.
were
Oh.
a lot of Carbine. I think I saw a
Yeah.
Carbine on almost every team. So
this
I
is
would
what I was
definitely
gonna ask. 'Cause
expect. Yeah.
Is it banned as in for both lobbies combined, or was it
Yes.
separated? That was
Correct.
going to be my next question, and you just answered it right there. So that is going to be the interesting thing. So Carbine, as you're talking about, I didn't get it. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to add them up in this lobby for game 2, but Carbine is a pretty prevalent one, so that would make a lot of sense. OC is saying definitely Carbine Oath, but Oath only had 4. There was more myths in that second lobby, and even more bishops in that second the second game. I mean, so that there is a good chance that it is not going to be Oath in our first round of bans, but I think eventually Oath is going to reach that.
So I'm going to piggyback once again off of Reliq, because I was just thinking that the Kingpin drop off is honestly kind of crazy. We saw a couple, but I remember when KP was the staple of the European region, like every other team had one, and they were all very exceptional, just all terrifying in their own right. And I only saw 1 or 2, I think, within these first 2 games. People are antsy; they want to fight, but we're still waiting on the bans. It looks like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you everyone for your
OC.
patience. By the way, we are having to count them pretty slowly. We've got a small squad here, and a lot of players, a lot of teams to count. So thank you everyone for your
OC
patience.
just answered why there's probably less Kingpin, is that there's a bug right now when it comes to grabbing things like souls. And so that is a big reason why to play Kingpin, is his ability to move around souls, to grab away some of these objectives that normally you'd feel safe. And that has been a big thing for Kingpin for a long time, of like why to play him. So it would make sense why some players that might not be quite as proficient at the Kingpin would fall off that, but there are definitely certain players that are so good at Kingpin that doesn't matter. They like everything else about his kit, the ability to confirm a lot of those dunks that you have with a nice Primal Slam, the Abyssal hooks as well that are able to immediately get you an advantage when it comes to a lot of these plays. So there are some players I think that aren't going to fall off that, at least not yet. And we'll see as the bans do get introduced, if we're going to have more players start picking up Kingpin despite the bug. I think that's also going to be something that we have to look towards.
This is one of those interesting situations where you have to feel really good when you have that less frequently played hunter as your main. I'll use Dracos and Celeste again as the example. Like I saw one Celeste So he's got to be feeling pretty happy that, he gets
For
to
now.
play or he plays a hunter for now, a hunter that is less likely to be banned. And yeah, as Oath gets taken away, I wonder if we're going to see Aiden pull out. Let's say it's Oath Bishop, for example. Will Aiden go back to his Kingpin? Like, how are these teams going to work on their comps?
Is the Oath. Oath
Yes!
is banned. So Carbine.
Oath,
No
Carbine.
but Oath. Okay.
The bishop
Let's
makes it
go.
through, and the myth makes it through.
All right. Well, I think we already know what will be the next bans, but they are going to be here for a little bit, which means I am expecting pretty much every team now to be running a myth bishop combo of some sort.
I think it's
Great
also
team, but there's going to be a lot of them. Go ahead.
yeah, it's also going to be interesting to see what healers come out, or if people pick up a healer at all. Are we going to see more of the Zeph? Are we going to see more Eva?
Right.
Give me the battle bunny.
I don't know if that's going to happen yet. Eva's still there. I think
know.
OC had a really good call. Not OC, sorry. Pensato had a really good call on that one, that Eva will have a bit more of that priority later on. But I think for now is going to be one of those things that we will start seeing creep up for a lot of teams. Like I said, I'm expecting it to mostly be Myth and Bishop now that Carbine especially is gone. Ghost could sneak their way up there. Ghost has kind of lost their position of power that they had once held because of Carbine. And when you remove Carbine, everyone's probably just going to go right back over to Ghost.
Wrong. Ghost had, I mean, Carbine kind of has like a combination kit of Ghost and Bishop. To me, it feels like with like the punch to grenade, things like that. And yeah, Ghost still a force to be reckoned with. And think about what did we see? One Ghost in the first two games?
Yeah, I think
We
Shishi was
too.
playing it, but
Yep.
I'm not sure about the other lobby though.
True. Yeah, we're not sure about the other lobby. That one can really change things up. And look at this. I see only 1, 2, 3,
1,
4,
2.
5, 6. Okay, so 6 myths I saw. I didn't get a chance to count the bishops, but there were a good amount of bishops as well. So actually not as many to
It's like 5, if I'm not
Four,
mistaken, 5
five. I
bishops.
counted 5.
5 bishops, yeah. So not nearly as many as I thought. In fact, the bigger one that has taken over that spot because I guess the lack of Oath has been Kingpin. Despite the bugs, our EU players do like Kingpin, so they are all falling back to the Pick King himself and seeing if they can utilize that as we look at our drop for game 3. We see that LSD, the Cookers, they're going to be the two teams at Academy, but Chi-Chi might only be able to grab one book of knowledge before having to bail completely because CC, the team in control of school, and nobody's going to be able to fight against them.
I'm so excited to see Mechie Mechanical himself on Kingpin again because that KP I remember putting in work in Abyssal Cup 2 and just demonstrating absolute ruthlessness. So to see it back is actually a treat for me. I'm hoping they're able to do a lot in this third game as we try to see who qualifies for the final bracket, if you would. Yeah, just kind of posturing, setting up, trying to get that fate rewinder right now, and everybody just again, this is we often joke about it. It's the equivalency of the laning phase. Not a lot of fighting. People just want their levels, their positions, their powers to start setting up for night 1, day 2.
I guess within the NA scene, are you seeing any power shifts in respect to like what item powers people are picking? For example, like we're seeing a lot of money trees in most recent EU scrims as the kind of flavor choice because it's kind of versatile.
The tree combo is like
Yeah.
a big one we're seeing. Like money tree, I think just in general, the money you can get from it has been big, but also if you're able to pick up an early tree combo, that's really been one of the big ones we've been starting to see more and more. Two-way
Yeah,
tunnel
yeah.
still has been very strong. Same with bungee shot. It also is dependent on where you end up dropping. A lot of that comes into the equation as well. But I feel like the power meta has been pretty stagnant across regions. We see a lot of the players going for very similar things. Abyss specialists, hover wings are still pretty prevalent. Rescue turtles or health packs. These are also options that a lot of teams go for.
Now,
sure,
in
for sure.
regards to going back to money trees, one of the metas I have been seeing is they'll take a base camp early, which isn't always optimal, but when you have all this room to play with and less likely to get invaded, if you would, they'll plant money trees all around their base camps and just let them grow. Because if you didn't know, money trees pay out more the longer you let them sit. And there's a dive in.
Three little pigs
Exciting.
already pushed back. QTS maybe a little bit mad from what happened in last game. Dropping out a bit early. Aiden will be the last one to stand up for 3LP. And looking at how they are right now, playing that Kingpin, no longer getting the oath that they had fallen back towards as like the prime main hunter for Aiden for a long time. He's gone back to the original, the OTP in a Kingpin back when we looked all the way into the prologue and then even the early stages of the open beta.
I mean, Aiden can play a lot of characters. I've seen him
True.
in
Very
arenas.
true.
He's very versatile. So
Hmm.
I think he's going to
But
suffer
I
the
just
least
I
in,
like
in this
calling out
one.
Aiden on
Yeah,
that. You
yeah,
know,
for sure.
one of the original Kingpin players way back in the day. Then one of the main people who played Oath for such a long time, and as you talked about, can play so many styles. I mean, Aiden, such a good player.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, you know me. I discussed that at the very start of the tournament. I am an Aiden fan through and through, and she might be getting caught out, but Stormbreakers, I don't know if they just didn't like the opportunity or if they're waiting for something else, but they actually choose not to jump on this LSD member.
It's because they don't
May-
know where the other members of LST are.
Mhm.
They're too worried about giving away their position. Well, we do see Kitten Carnage again. Our first team eliminated this time by the birthday squad. As we look all the way over towards Underrot, there was a potential pinch. When we go back up north, LSD against Stormbreaker. Shichi going to be the target taken down early on by Stormbreakers. The rest of LSD going to peel back to the base camp they were able to cap.
You called it. They saw where the remaining members were of LSD and said, "Yep, you're my Huckleberry. This is it. We're fighting." And they're able to score themselves one extra KP as they try to move on, or in this game 3, towards the final bracket, hopefully. And look up north. You see, I can't quite see what team that is, but they're almost going to get pinched out here if Stormbreakers catch on that there's somebody else there.
Birthday squad. Ooh.
Oh,
Could
they're
be
able to take the train out.
Yeah, so birthday
good.
squad were the other team that I was kind of looking at up north. Well, we go back at the fight, and a BWB bad spot against BBB, chased away. It's only served 4 bridges with benefits, and unfortunately for them, they have been struggling a little bit in this lobby for themselves. Unable to find a great spot to fight as we go back towards Mana Coils. QTS continue this hunt onto the 3 little pigs, and they're trying to blow open the doors as they immediately collapse back and leave only Aiden to survive for the 3 little pigs again. This Kingpin forced to run.
There's deja vu, that one.
Mhm.
That is not a very mobile hunter, too, but Aiden just with that good positioning, realizing we're in a bad spot, having to get out. And they've got to be feeling semi-comfortable, 3 little pigs, that they've performed well enough in the first 2 games. But like, you don't want to risk it. Going out at 11th really leaves too much up to chance. So I respect Aiden for once again being able to get away, and at least it's early enough that he'll have options, but it's gonna possibly be a poverty run for them.
As we still see that BBB were hunting down Sir, but Chiv is very slippery. Was able to avoid their detection to try to get towards that pretty safe respawn, maybe even hopping onto the train and guess what? It is bullet trains this round. It is going to be a speedy train, but BBB, they notice that you're there, and they're looking to eliminate one more squad. Fusillade pop, but no damage pumped out. Instead, it's another squad eliminated.
Looks
Maybe
like
I'm
the action's
just
not stopping here. Ooh, hook doesn't connect. All right, QTS have got loads of powers here. Frog as well, and the Abyss power as well. They
Frog,
got good levels.
yeah, they got themselves a
Fang.
Fang. They got themselves a 2-way tunnel as well. They are looking pretty good. The only thing is their armor maybe a little bit lacking because they continue to hunt down the 3 little pigs, but they're going to move right back into the circle and be perfectly fine.
Free Bungie as well right there if they want it. But now we're actually seeing a lot more fights on night 2 than I was expecting. People like really just trying to vie for where do they want to be, where they're standing. And I always love that with Shiv, the dagger, just like kind of face check because you have an automatic escape.
Slugway, whoa! Absolutely deletes cookies. And the cookers, even if they are at the heart, I don't know if they're going to try to stick that and try to revive the team. They're going to be reeling from that one.
3 little pigs, you got to take them all out at once. Look at that. They let Aiden survive twice. And they come back and take all the cookies from the cookie jar.
Oh, they take one. Just
took
one.
one.
Yeah,
best
they got one
one.
cookie from the cookie jar. Maybe it was the best one, but there are still some left. As right now, the French
True.
raccoons are struggling. And normally, it is Atomics who survives for the team, but this time it's up to Fire to try to bring back the team. They got the desert to play with, and no one seems to be hunting them down, so they'll be all alone out there. They can bring back the team yet again.
Now,
Yep,
I kind of
and
like this. Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, if you notice, everybody's positioning around where the most creep camps are, which is going to be towards the north. And I'm so sorry, Symeri, you were saying something?
Oh, just saying that Chu got that soul for free, and looks like TFR Fire. Oh, he's gonna have to try and make this out. And
Yeah, where do you go though? Because you
Yeah.
already ran away at Enshrine. You had lost there, and Birthday Squad chase away the French raccoon. So Fire, nowhere really to go, and it looks like they might get snuffed out soon. Well, 10 teams remain. We have SB getting themselves an armor soul after Chu were able to get the damage.
yep, and just full north side, we've got a big fight here. Sinner's Embrace coming out. Oh, the storm comes out.
Lockdown. It is going to be the storm, but it's an early storm, so not doing that much damage to either team just yet. But the
Third
bigger
party.
problem is going to be for the cookers. How do you get away from the 3 little pigs?
Whoa.
You had already lost one, and you're still out in the storm, and it is not safety. There's no shelter for you to run to. We already talked about the heart not being safe for you, because guess what? Aiden says, I know exactly where you're going. The pigs become the wolves as they look to pounce down onto the cookers. Kingpin gets away, but here's BBB. They're going to third party the situation, but Luca's going to be the target that they take down first and then see if they can get Clarny, who's been pushed away from the 3 little pigs. But because you had focused so much
1 for
attention
1.
on a myth, you now put yourself in a 2v2 fight. Godfrey trying to get some damage. That's going to be the fearsome one pumping the damage, leaving Aiden the only one for the 3 little pigs.
He's going to find a rest situation, and I'm not sure if. I mean, he's got a couple of crowns, I guess. Not too bad for a KP.
No, and then FBI having moved up, they wanted to be the 4th party to the 3rd party, but everyone had already stopped fighting by then, so it will be some revives that players can attempt to go for. 3 little pigs, Birthday Squad, they have these options of cookers as well, but they can keep the team alive, but it is going to be difficult for them to find those angles, especially as we are looking at these circles with 10 squads still alive.
It looks like SB lost one not too long ago, so they're trying to get this res on this small island here. But we've got Camper with the Delicate as well. Oh, Choipe with the
Here is-
ulti.
Nice blast off, but the punt back. So it's a back and forth, ebb and flow. Sinner's Embrace missing. But Chin getting a lot of damage for the team, keeping QTS away so SB can retreat and try to regroup.
Yep, and 3LP are back up, which is great for them. Managed to get that res off. And I think TFR also did the same full south side. Hook doesn't connect. And BBB
think
have the high ground for
every-
now, looking down.
Every team but one has been able to get their players back up. So now, 3 little pigs. How many times have they been down to Aiden? And Aiden brings them back every single time. They're going to fight against BBB. But both teams playing this one a little bit more tepidly. Not wanting to get caught out, especially not by Aiden's Kingpin. As he was looking for those hooks, now it's going to be on a Neox to try to do the same with the jump pad. Shroom could have been the target, but he was barely able to get on the other side of Prisma Falls.
If you
Yep,
looked at the powers, the armors, the equipment, sorry, BBB had everything going for them. They had the high ground. So that was pretty courageous from 3 little pigs to keep going for those little hooks. But they realized, like, all right, we've overstayed our welcome. Now's the time to make the exit. Because, yeah, BBB is looking pretty good right now with their spot.
We're seeing a North zone pull as well, and we got TC's team. We saw them die a couple of times. Have one straggler left, get a res, and then rinse and repeat. So they've kind of remained under-leveled and under-armored in this situation, and the zone pool's not too kind to them either.
And it is Bullet Train, so while it is going a little bit north at the moment in Prisma Falls, it will start to pull back towards the tracks eventually, and these are what teams are going to have to take into consideration as they are playing for the Orb of Life. It looks like LSD are winners from Game 2. Going to be able to grab themselves that and be very happy with it, but they got to keep in mind that they are now spotted out by so many squads. Chichi going to be the target, almost taken down, but barely able to avoid the ire of QTS and getting back with the rest of the team from the double sand wall.
I mean, that was a very aggressive play by Shichi there. He had to use both sand walls. He'd even dashed in. I feel like QTS could have punished that, but there are some teams surrounding them, so maybe not the best call in that specific scenario.
I think that's why. I think that's why they
Yeah.
decided to fall back. They saw too many squads about to peel back towards them. They decided to relent as we see the Cookers getting chased down. French Raccoons. This is a bloody team. They love battle. They love fighting. And they already got rid of Cookies. They take out the weak link. Well, Sanderson Priest does lock down the stun. Guess what? Two other teams were up north. Bullet Train barely missing. Not going to be able to get any knocks this time around. FBI and Chu, they were able to take out some stragglers. Now they fight with one another. Zugswag is going to be the first casualty for FBI, while Chu waiting to see if there's going to be the dash in. As we see QTS and the French Raccoons eliminated simultaneously. French Raccoons, I think, got eliminated just before that of the Cookers. And then we look towards how these other fights are going to go for our team. Sorry, not the Cookers. QTS were the team that got eliminated. LSD are in a bad spot, surrounded by all sides. Shichi tries to dash back, but there's too many teams surrounding their point. It's up to Drama Brawl to get away for the team now. Well, Meki Mick is taken down. Only Luca and Eva may be spotted out, but charge up. Don't look for that. Instead, they're looking for the fight. Chichi is gone. Now with the chilling finale, everyone is ignoring Luca in the brush because they were too focused on one another. But Aiden finally spotting out the Eva. Slug wave, a lot of damage. This Eva tries to heal back up. Centers embrace. Luca dodging away, finally taken down by the second wind. As we see another team eliminated with Birthday Squad joining up for the next bout.
Shroom and Clarny just kind of went off over there while Aiden was drawing attention towards the southeast. Those two did not miss a shot each. They were devastating for whoever was so unfortunate to run into them right there. And the way Three Blind Mice were able to, or sorry, Three Little Pigs. I'm sorry, I read a comment. But the way they were able to like reconvene together and all collapse on Fall from Grace was just masterclass. Like, well done from there. But look, charged up, they have the levels, they have the gear, they have the soul. And now against BBB, who more or less has the same minus the soul.
Bon Bullion, they're in a, I don't know if this is a good spot for them to be in or if it's going to be a tragic spot because they were getting collapsed by the zone. They were held back by the storm grenade as we look over to Gio, trying to get away, avoiding a lot. With 20 seconds left on the clock. Could look to steal that away. Doesn't get it. Barely denied. And then eliminated by Stormbreakers. Literally a game of inches. Had that dunk been there, FBI could have possibly fought back.
A for effort. A for effort. You got it. Like Symeri mentioned in the prior game, you have to take those risks when you're in that bad spot. It's one of those risk a lot to save a lot kind of things. And so I appreciated the attempt.
As
comes
Birthday
out.
Squad lose one. It's up to Sinoid and Revel now. No Matrix. Going to be difficult without their Krista to pump out a lot of that damage, but Myth could make up for that. But they are still at a disadvantage. Crown for Revel. Chu and Three Little Pigs trying to push back the Birthday Squad. Come on, let Sinoid have the play. His birthday was just yesterday. Revel getting pushed back, and they're surrounded by all sides. Revel's going to be the target. Tries to phase walk away, but then they look towards Sinoid with a nice slug wave to take him down, leaving only a Myth. Charge up. They were working in tandem with Three Little Pigs to remove the Birthday Squad. With only 4 left on the field, it's going to be Three Little Pigs staring down Charge up.
That was like some Coyote level tactics where they just, it's like, we don't have to like each other, but we're going to work together and surround this weak, injured team. we've got ours, you've got yours. Let's get them out of the lobby, and then we'll worry about the other ones there. I feel bad for the birthday squad. There was just nothing they could do right there.
That's right. Look at teams that are gonna struggle with things to do right now. Barek, the lone bishop for
Oh!
Stormbreakers, blast off back, but where's the crown? You're not wearing any glory here, and they are gonna silence the Stormbreakers. You might have won game 1, but have been struggling since then. And we will be left with our 3 remaining teams: BBB, Chew, and 3 Little Pigs.
So BBB and Charged Up both have been looking great again this entire time. Just keeping it slow. But 3 Little Pigs, just the tenacity to keep coming back. Like, I don't know how they did it, but they have armors. Their powers are decent. Oh, and the hook!
Oh! Baroof lands it onto the Kingpin, but Neok survives and throws it right back with another pull. This time it's Aiden chilling Finale, barely the mental there for Dracos. But 2 are down. They've only got 1 left because right there with Cat Girl Cafe Manager gone, 3 Little Pigs surrounding all points, and they're collapsing everybody. Draco put into the storm. 2 for BBB. Blast off to try to charge down to look for the kills as they've got everyone low. It's up to Godfroy, but he couldn't do it. 3 Little Pigs take game 3.
Did it? I don't know how, but kicking and screaming, fighting until their last breath. Aiden, 3, we take those. Consolation train. They did it. I don't know how, but Aiden kept getting away. And again, he's too strong of a player, too tenured, that you've got to cut off that head while you have the chance. And nobody could. And look at what happened. 3 Little Pigs. Again, macro over micro. But even then, with the micro, Clerney, Shroom did not miss their shots. 2 strong, hard-hitting hunters hit every single thing while Aiden just repositioned every team like he's some chess grandmaster and just positioned them how he wanted them to be so his teammates could clear space. And not only that, but when he found somebody caught out, no hesitation, on site. I want the smoke. Dunk, ult, you're eliminated, and I'm going to go back to what I was doing. You were just a thorn in my side for half a second. 3 Little Pigs played that game out of their minds in spite of playing it on the back foot.
So now that we've gotten through game 3, this is where the top 6 teams from each of our lobbies will be moving on into the finals, for the Pensato is hosting a tournament. We are going to get that added up, and I'll let you 2 talk for a bit. I'm going to go use the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back.
Sure, no worries.
He's not a machine. He's a man. Sorry, you were saying Symeri.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't, you're not wrong there. I was just gonna say, like, so we've got game 4 coming up, and then the next set of bans are gonna come in. What's your speculation now?
Myth
on,
Bishop. Like, I feel like there could be the crazy Kingpin out of left field thing, but Myth, I feel like, has to be on the chopping block right now. There's no way around it. But Bishop, we saw so many Bishops on we saw 6 in this lobby alone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's got to be those 2, I think.
Yeah, it would be very surprising if it wasn't the Bishop. There are a couple of contenders. We saw a lot of Kingpin. We saw a surprising amount of Brawl.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually true. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of Brawl players in EU at one point, when he was really, really broken. And since the repeated nerfs, he's gone into the Shadow Realm for a bit, and he's making a reappearance, I guess, now. So
Yeah, I had expected we'd see more Brawl after Oath gets banned, because a lot of Oath players, and this goes for both regions, right? A lot of the Oath players are also they also happen to be Brawl players. So when they can't play Oath, the competitively viable character, maybe they'll just go to their comfort, play the Brawl. I don't know if he'll be banned. We definitely did see a lot of Bishop, but it's just going to keep getting more and more interesting the more bans we get, Once the Bishop's gone, what do all the Bishop mains play? Once we see the Kingpin gone and the myth gone, what do we see then?
Hmm.
Having the same wonder, like, how deep do your hunter pools go? What kind of tertiaries do you have in this situation? And also that makes me wonder in scrims, and you would know this better than me, Symeri, have people been practicing different comps to see what works? Because in NA, we'll see that a lot, that people will be like, hey, let's try something built around Eva and see if that works. Let's try an Aluna comp. So is EU pretty big on that?
I feel like it's almost one of those things where a new team's impression will be that kind of mentality, but it seems to be more so the case that people pick their pick an established comp for the majority, for the vast majority. There are a couple of exceptions, and then they kind of just practice the macro, because I feel like a lot of the improvement that players can make is from that perspective, in terms of improving. I feel like most of the teams have, if they've already grinded arena a bunch or played the game a lot, their macros typically in working order. So that macro is definitely gets you in those positions to win those fights easier. And I think I've seen, like, for example, like KZN is a relatively new team in the EU scene, and I feel like they're still trying to find their footing. They're like swapping between like two comps, for example. But yeah, I think overall it's just like practicing that macro first is like the key. So just picking an already established comp, you can kind of follow some already established patterns that other successful teams have utilized for victory.
That makes sense. And I need a favor while we're waiting. I just got sent a clip from Sprokane
Sure.
that it would be a disservice if we don't show this to everybody else.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
gonna
got
DM
that too. Let me figure out how to make
Here,
this work.
so here's all we have to do. Just Symeri just needs to share this screen, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
So I'll open up the
Give me 1
Twitch.
second.
I'll keep it on the screen for now. Let me know when you're ready.
Yep, just a sec. I'm just sorting it out.
Good. No, I really like your insight right there. So I thank you. Yeah, it's just EU. If nothing else, I'm going to give EU credit. I didn't like their situational awareness is insane because they were able to not get hit by the train so often. Like, I don't know how they pulled that off, but like,
All right, is it good, Pensato, by the way?
Yep, I'm watching you now.
Pensato, you
Alright.
got to change the
Oh, I
screen
got
on
it.
stream.
There we go. I think.
All right, just
There we
just
go.
give me a shout.
Yeah, you're good to go.
I have so much gold.
They gotta come into it now. Hey, look, bitch.
That guy's like, how does this guy have another fucking nuke?
That's nice. Okay, the two-way turn on us. Picking 9 tabs. There we go.
What is this chaos?
I don't know about win.
It's fine. I mean, we great game.
Wait, they fucked.
They fucked it. They fucked it.
They can win this.
Oh my god! It's mythical. He shit. No, baby, stop shit.
No!
Oh my god! Let's go, boys!
That scale, wait, I just need to see the scale part again. Does he actually
Yes, and-
survive because of it? Like, I know that he knocks
Yeah.
the bishop away.
Wow.
Holy.
It's right around here.
And- yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I have got the scoreboard just about ready. I do need to set up
way.
those things.
No way. Okay, who are our final 12 teams that made it through? Because there were very clearly some, like, I'm going down a limb and assuming Shy made it through, especially after that performance that we just saw on that clip. But
TRF, I'm assuming as
it
well.
up.
They were just
TTV.
Oop, I need to download these. Wait, nope, I got them.
Oh my gosh, Sprocade. Shy has 90 points. Next closest is 50. So Shy is not shy with their domination of that first lobby. Oh, look, in the leaderboard of, let's go. Leaderboard of the or lobby 1, Three Little Pigs taking it, Stormbreakers charged up, LSD, Triple B, and the FBI make it through, and QTS narrowly getting eliminated. Same with TC.
Wow.
That was crazy. I was kind of noticing it felt like BBB and BWB kept running into each other and fighting it out. So it's just kind of funny to notice with that. And any upsets
We also have to
in
point
lobby
out
2?
Shy have 91 points. The next closest is the Red Frogs with 51. And then the next closest after that is 36. And then we see 36, 36, 33, 28. Those next 4 teams are so close together in points.
You're right.
Keep this in
TSM
mind.
closer. Go ahead.
TSM gets eliminated, right? They were only 10 points away from third.
Um,
Like that is unfortunate for TSM
Yeah.
because 2 points is all. So 2 extra kills could have moved them into being, into the finals. That's how close they were. And then same for QTS on the other side. They had 28 points. TC had 27. So both of those teams very close to making out. If QTS was in the other lobby, they could possibly have made it out as well. That's how close a lot of those teams right there at that line are.
Yeah. This final is it's either going to be a complete stomp as you know, Shy, they already play like the Saros, which I don't expect will be banned. Or it's going to be a super, super close series as we see teams like Three Little Pigs and Stormbreakers really shake things up with these other teams.
So it's been demonstrated through looking at these leaderboards, looking at Abyssal Cup 2. EU is very strong in the middle of the pack. And what I mean is that there is not as dramatic a skill gap as you might imagine between those on top and those in the middle. And again, I'm going to go back to Abyssal Cup 2, where a team that narrowly made it through to the finals, they were the last spot of their lobby, won the entire event. So will history repeat itself today? Will somebody that just scraped in actually pull off an upset? Because I'm assuming points reset as we go into the final lobby. Open to anybody, 6 games. I think
5 games.
Like 5 games. I apologize. Thank you. 5 games. But still, like, Shy cannot be complacent right here. You won the first lobby, but will you win this one? So I'm excited.
I will say it is interesting too because they win game 1, but they only had 6 kills in that one. Yes, games 2 and 3 they dominated, 13 and 12 kills in those 2. Like game 3, it was closer. Them and TTV. TTV were able to get 10 kills, so it was very close between those two if you just look at that. But it's not like Shy absolutely smashed every single one of those games. So there is always that possibility, especially now that we are going to be moving all the, our top 6 teams from both lobbies together. The Three Little Pigs, they had a 3rd, 2nd, and then a 1st place finish. They have been slowly moving up themselves, looking better and better with each passing game. So it will be interesting to see how they go up against that kind of team. Stormbreakers too. This is a team that did take the first game for us, and they had 20 kills in game 1 in our other lobby.
Ooh, so I'm just going to give Shy their desserts here, their cookies, if you would. Yesterday during the tournament, they were so dominant. They had a 20+ kill game, so we know that's on the menu for them. They have the macro, they have the micro, and they were so dominant yesterday that in their last game, they knew everybody was going to come after them. So they literally just camped in the abyss until everybody else was pretty much eliminated, and they placed high enough that nobody could pass them. So that's a team that is so strong right out the gate that everybody else is just always clawing to try and catch up to them. And they demonstrated it again in their first lobby. So like I almost wonder if the other teams, like, there's got to be a giant target on their backs. The wounds from yesterday are fresh. The wounds from that first lobby are even more fresh. So, like, they gotta watch out.
So I know we're talking about like all this stuff, but I just want to show off the cake my wife made for me yesterday. That we didn't
Let's
get
see
to
it.
on stream. So this is
Wow.
nice piece. Yeah.
That is a beautiful cake.
Mm-hmm.
Strawberry
It's a very
shortcake?
nice cake. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's
Oh.
very tasty, and there's like even some raspberries on there too.
Oh, wow.
Cake.
God,
Second
now
bite.
you've got me wanting cake.
It's really good.
We're just waiting on a few last people to join the lobby. A couple people went AFK, I think. So we'll be back in just a moment with that.
No worries. But so here's where I want to talk about a few other teams, and notably the face of European Supervive, Mr. Tomothy Kickington. Tom Kick. He's a person that, although they have not performed up to their traditional standards as of late, you can never, ever, ever count him out. He is somebody who is so hungry for the win that they are mad when they get second place. And so I'm going to want to keep an eye on TTV, that I feel like they're just going to, right out the gate, start picking off, maybe not entire squads or entire trios teams, but like going for those initial picks to start building their points early. Because they're a team that's very momentum driven. When they are playing well, they are playing exceptionally well. So will they get that start that they want and just ride that momentum for the rest of the lobby?
For sure. And it's a big question as more and more champions get banned, you know, or hunters get banned. Oh, for the first couple of games today, we saw Tom playing the Oath, and we had Adam on the Carbine, I believe. And then once Oath Carbine got banned, then they swapped it around entirely and went for a Zeph Felix myth comp that got them second place in that last game, which was a huge deal. They only barely made it to third place, I believe. So after, you know, we'll probably see the myth get banned. What's gonna get banned next, and how are they going to swap around?
I mean, unless we know it's like 100. This one's not even like a question. It is myth, right? Myth is for sure gonna be the next band. I feel like what we will see is Kingpin as our next one. We'll follow up afterwards, just because how much we see EU really fall back to that, despite any of the bugs that might be going on with the Kingpin right now. It doesn't matter. Still something that these players are very comfortable with, especially when it comes to a lot of these team fights. So I'm expecting to see that is kind of the go-to next, is going to be those two taken away, and Kingpin is a big ban towards Tom, and that's why it's cool to hear that it wasn't the Kingpin they decided to go for after losing out on Carbine and Myth. They decided instead go for a Felix and a Zeph combo with Myth. Myth probably going to be the next one they lose, but I will take whatever that comp is that they had for themselves and see how they can adapt going forward with the Felix Zeph as their core.
Yeah, and Tom's Zeph, I don't know if you've ever seen it in arena or in general, but that is one of the best in the business right now. And it's like his third, fourth most comfortable hunter. And he is so strong on that pick. As Symeri pointed out, or Pensato, sorry, second place in that game off of not his main. Again, that's why we got to be looking out for them. But let's see, we have counting KPs. I saw actually a lot of brawls.
Yeah, that is surprising to me. A lot more brawls than I expected as well. seeing Myth not nearly as taken up as I thought she was. I think it was a really good spread from the players outside of the brawl, which I think is the bigger surprise to see that kind of be the go-to.
Brawl, I saw, I think, 3 Sorrowses. I might have counted wrong, but not enough to get it taken away from Sprokane, but still kind of surprising. Oh,
So
and Pensato counts 6 bishops.
6 bishops. Okay, so we'll have to add in, because I think after this game is going to be the next ban, where we have our next hunter bans, and how teams adapt after that, because it is a fairly good spread from our top 6 teams of each lobby that have kind of moved into this one. We saw, I think, more defined metas in each of those lobbies, and now that you have to kind of migrate them and have them have this hodgepodge, they're bringing whatever had been developed for themselves in those other matchups, and now have to see how those are going to deal here. As right now, Team Turbo Velocity losing the Ori, Tom Kick having to run away, might have to hop aboard the train to escape.
The nice thing about a train res is it actually gives you, as long as it goes uncontested, it gives you a great rotation. We're not getting anything over here. Like, bad start, but oh, good dunk coming in from the brawl right there. Not showed up on the kill feed, but Triple B having to make some moves, and Shroom goes down. Some of our strongest teams from the first round, not off to the best start. But as I was saying, like, look, get the train res. They got the rotation. They're going to go into Prisma Falls, level up. They're going to be okay for TTV, but man, kind of a shaky start for a few of these guys.
And that is expected when you have, these lobbies that are now joining up with one another. You are bringing in new tactics. You kind of get used to playing against people with each consecutive game, right? You are more understanding of what they're going to try, what they're bringing to the table, how you can punish them. And even if you've played against all of these players several times, each day is a little bit different. Some players play better than others, on a given day, where one day you can be playing and being the absolute star of the lobby. Other days you could be struggling right there. Adamark struggling to get away from the Red Frogs, and TTV still down to only Tom Kick, I believe.
All the emote spam, but I respect Adamark for spamming the heart. More hearts, put it back in the level up rotation, please, Theorycraft. But man, you can't relax too much right there, Adamark. And to go back to your prior point, it's pretty fascinating when you play in lobbies like custom games with these players. They start to get to know everyone so well that you know your preferences. Like, oh, they're probably going to drop here and here. They're going to drop here. And as you watch them on the map, it's like, okay, I was right. So we can expect, like, you can make your predictions. You should be able to know, like, roughly where people are going to be, but you can start make those predictions of like, no, they are very aggressive. They're going to run it down. They're a little more passive. They're going to try and farm and go for these powers. Expect the boss, expect this. And so they have to play around that adaptation, or around that, like that knowledge base that everybody here knows everybody else so well at this point.
So, Symeri, I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit, as we do see that there are these two teams that could possibly fight, but kind of looking at like these players and how they kind of go into things. You being a player who has played in a lot of these matches. Well, that's a nice hook there. Actually, I'm gonna have to put that on pause. But the blast back! Did you see that damage onto the 3 little pigs by the Red Frog? Shroom in a battle against Bishop. Mithy versus Shroom. Shroom trying to avoid the ire, and the Red Frogs decide they want to take the easy prey. Only will get one of the piggies, and the pigs will be at heart, so they can immediately res Shroom.
Pulled one of his Bomba brothers, and they took that personally. That damage was insane. Oh my gosh. Okay, Symeri, to the point. I apologize.
Yeah, sure. What were you saying, guys?
So, you being a player, when you kind of swap up a lobby like this, especially on a given day, like how do you feel like that impacts the players' like idea of what they're going to do in a given matchup?
The difficult one, I guess, with these bans in tow. Do you mean like people's like strategy overall?
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
Oof.
It's rough.
Considering
isn't it?
we're in the first game of the finals, like sort of thing, I feel like it's still everyone's going to play like their own
The
game.
snowman!
Oh!
You got it.
Oh, you got it!
Yeah, everyone's gonna play their own game, I think, for now. But then, as soon as like when the points start like counting up and tallying up, you're gonna see like people start to like chase each other more aggressively. They look for colors, look for team names.
Mhm.
That's the main thing. The main thing we see typically. Oh,
Right now, we're seeing that L chased down by Hachi and the Shy, getting themselves some free points in this game as they had held control of Cold Fang. But we go all the way over here and see how these potential fights are going right outside of Prisma Falls. It is the Red Frogs still holding control of the falls itself. They're pushing out any team that tries to venture into their home territory.
got the blink on Blackrock as well, so that might be tasty for some dunks in the near future.
That's actually terrifying, as LSD might be overstepping there and kind of running into everything. Like, Drama should be able to get away, you'd hope, but
Yeah,
they are
they got the team nearby. They're going to be
they're
fine.
fine.
The only problem is that Chi-Chi did stick to the train, trying to grab the loot from there and avoiding the unstable portal that almost grabbed them with the help of the train. But Chi-Chi fighting against 2, now 3 members of the Little Piggies as they're chasing down, looking for the lone ghost over the abyss. I'm looking for a slam down while you mantle the way for a moment. It was still a free kill for 3LP.
And to the point that you were saying earlier, Symeri, yeah, that early everybody's playing their game. That's 3 Little Pigs game. Like, okay, that was rough, but we're fine. We saw
Ori winning the duel against Stormbreakers. Well, Adamark might still be down. Where's Tom? That's my big question. And our first team eliminated. The Shy will wipe out our first squad.
Oh, there's Tom trying to get the res off separated, but that was just a battle of the hands right there. Big damage comes in, but has to retreat.
Tornado.
Going left, third party is on the scene, and Tom King
Frogs.
desperately trying to run.
But thankfully, the Ori winning that duel on the other side, so TTV aren't quite out of this just yet. And then the fight all the way here. Mad Academy are gone, and now with a pole trying to drag in to take down Kuba. This is giving Charge up the power to throw back at Cask and eliminate one more player, leaving only Kalskinator to survive.
Those rails aren't solid land, and they knew it. That was so well done as BBB gets eliminated in 10th off screen. What a hook, what a dashback, and way to keep your just presence about you, knowing that you're on the rails and have to adjust your grind dunk. So beautiful, so well done. And man, the skill of these players are actually insane.
Kalskinator, the one that survived for Mist, was able to find the kill onto the Ori, eliminating another squad. So TTV out at 9th place. As the fight for damage toll between Stormbreakers and the Red Frogs, it will be interrupted. 3 Little Pigs were venturing up from the south as we see that Mist, while they had gotten the revive, they're still struggling against LSD. Kalskinator, the one that eliminated TTV, now going to be stomped down as Drama Brawl, standing forward, but taking a lot of damage for it. Cask trying to get any damage onto Shichi, nearly taking him out. He swaps away the armor, puts down the boombox to survive. Vortex Charm missed. Same with the chain. They pushed him back, but no stuns are landing. They've got a lot of damage onto them, but they've been able to heal back up. LSD feel powerful again to re-engage the fight, looking for the dunks. Well, Mist are trying to see if they can step away, but Kuba's going to be the target. He jumps over the abyss, separating from the team. Arcane Railgun might not have gotten the kill, but Mist will survive as they had separated, but the Shy, they have now moved from many away, and they are trying to see if they can engage as well. But Kuba now getting chased down. Emergency platform perfectly placed by Yasir, throwing out the arrows, looking to take down more. But LSD want to see if they can snipe that away and secure their own point.
Okay, Kuba and Cass played that out of their minds, dodging the snowballs, dodging everything, hitting grenades, but unfortunately the rotation, the 3 get over duos was just too much for them. And wow, all of a sudden Blackrock is on the run.
Blackrock will survive. The last one left for the Red Frogs. And while we might have 8 squads remaining, 20 players are there. Another revive attempted as Cask so close, holding on, barely taken down by Chu. So another squad gone.
And that just kept getting worse and worse and worse for them. It felt like they played so well, MST. But yeah, there's just everybody. They hear that beacon. The beacons are lit. They do not call for aid. We're running it down. So it's still early on in the tournament, thankfully, but I just almost feel bad for them. MST fought so hard right
Uh-oh.
there.
Speaking of fighting hard,
BlackRock!
BlackRock, Blinkstone, they see that. They want that so bad, but BlackRock getting a lot of distance, healing back up, back over the abyss outside of Skyrat's run. Crown grabbing that. Now let's see, do you continue? Do you want to play with fate?
Dangerous.
BlackRock, that is why they decide not to. They know how dangerous that is, especially with that Blinkstone.
That's true. That's one of the most coveted powers in this game. In the hands of somebody who knows how to use it, that is the game winner. That is the thing you want, but on a brawl with a crown. Yeah, I think that was a good play, especially lots of abyss, lots of rails, as you called out. Like, let's wait and look what they're doing. They're not doing Moth to the Flame and just running, but they're trying to take away the options here. Charged up is
No.
Ah!
No.
Oh,
That
baited
blink
it.
was anticipated. Baroof knew, but still, it's hard against BlackRock, and that is why they stop going for the full chase. They relent for a moment until they all get their cooldowns back up, and BlackRock has created a lot of space. The blast from the grenade has given him that chance to get to the rails. Do you want to continue to chase BlackRock with the help of those rails in the abyss from a crown? He's only got a minute left. One dunk will bring back up the White Frogs, and that's why they relent.
I really like that they had Dracos on Celeste chased down right there because the dunk wouldn't matter if it's underneath one of her or over one of her shifts. But ultimately, that is a very fast hunter try to get to it. Shy is poking good damage right there. Sandwall comes out.
Sprokane just can't miss with Sorrows, can he? He was getting so much damage onto LLL, and now ZZ, the last one, gets back over to the abyss. Stormbreakers will get the attention of the Shy. Sprokane and Hachi were on the other side. The pull says, no portal for you. We want to remove the Shy. Hachi going to be the first casualty for them. Well, they have portal away. Yes, sir. And Sprokane are running right towards the lethal sudden death. And it's going to be difficult. They look for the spike, but no grenades, no blast, no stun. It's instead the unstable portal to get an escape for Hachi.
Talk about reaction time. Talk about reaction time from Sprokane right there. The moment he saw somebody, the portal, the escape option was there. That was so fast to give them that fighting chance at survival. And both were able to get out, but still better two alive than just the one. Fast hands.
As teams still have this opportunity now to find a respawn beacon for themselves, but when you are staring down a powerful team, the Red Frogs, they brought back up the team, but it looks like Chu want to eliminate Mithy right as he had gotten back up on his feet. It'll be BlackRock and Niza now surrounded as Stormbreakers were pushing in from the west. Almost were able to find it. But look at how many teams there are still left. 7 squads. Respawn for Chu that is getting denied. They're denying from that of the Red Frogs.
I actually really like that positioning. Just holding it, trying to not let anybody up there. Ultimately, he has to concede it. But look, the storm's already in. They can't use it anyways.
Hover Wings. Oh, that Hover Wings was clutch there for ZZ, but unfortunately, there's too many squads surrounding him. So another one bites the dust. While 15 players are remaining, there's only 6 squads.
This is a terrifying lobby. Again, nobody is playing like they respect anybody else. They see you. We might as well have the names turned off with how they're playing this. And look, 3 little pigs of the spike.
If only Niza had a crown, the Red Frogs would be back up, but instead they are eliminated. They get the play. They get the point. Now, Stormbreakers, they fight back up against Charge Up, and Shen has been punted over the abyss, spiked down by Baroof. They should be able to revive the team. They put down the Mega Avalanche, but Dracos is gone. Deperek was able to get something back for the team. Well, there is still a lot of teams still positioned up north and looking to see how they want to move around the map.
Look at the 3 little pigs, by the way. They have, it looks like all red equipment. Oh, who's going to get the crown off?
It is gonna be the Shy. They saw a bishop by themselves, an easy target. Now Hachi back into the game with a Night Stalker soul for the Shy. Gonna make it even easier for them to move around the map undetected to try to get those points and get another first place.
But look at this. Look at their armors, their positioning, their most importantly, their equipment. Like Three Little Pigs don't quite have the powers as everybody else, but they have a lot of stuff going their way, and they're kind of prepped as the bungee just narrowly not setting up for the dunk.
Nearly was able to get it, but not quite, especially because there's just too much land. So even if you get the dunk, it'd still be fine. You just get a little bit of damage while that break takes a lot of that. They have a damaged soul, and Three Little Pigs pull
Here
them
we
in.
go.
They're looking for the full fight, but guess what? Shichi
party.
wants to intervene, say, hey, we're here too. We want to pick up these kills. Stormbreakers at the brink of death, as the Three Little Pigs are going to be silenced too by LSD, taking all the points away. Those two teams thought they had a great duel with one another, but it was always going to be interrupted by the third squad, while the Shy have been slowly pushing back up. Respawn beacon being attempted. Deparak failing. Shichi eliminating 3LP on the other side, while the Stormbreakers trying to get away from the Shy. But the blast off takes them down, and they have this in the bag. Shen might be able to survive, but guess what? There's always LSD there to play, to look for the picks, but they might instead want to turn towards the Shy, the team that has been able to pick up first place throughout the entirety of Lobby 2.
Look at that. They were able to pick up the armor shredder. Stormbreakers out in third. It is LSD versus Shy. And Shy, as little scavengers, started picking up the really good end game powers that they were finding on the ground, courtesy of LSD getting all those drops. But look, the strength. They have all the powers. Everybody has the equipment. But I like these chonker cannons and the fact that the storm is going in the favor of Shy at the moment. But again, it's a brawl with Blink. They have the Avalanche. They have the Bebo's Boombox. They have the it's a chain to get in. So LSD has their options. They've just got to find the timing and the communication for when and how do they want to engage. They have to pick the moment right. Tried to kidnap somebody.
Nevathy almost finding the kidnap. And I want to say this. Right now, we have a pattern going. The Shy, they won every game in Lobby 2. LSD, 7th, 1st, 7th. One of these trends will continue. Either we'll have another first place for the Shy, or almost the kidnap for LSD, as they are looking to get their second first place, the first one into the finals. Both teams are playing on a razor's edge. We're looking for plays, looking for damage from range for the Shy. The problem for LSD is going to be that the circle favors that of the Shy. And they have to know that soon. They looked for the blink. Almost were able to find it. And Levathy even slowly moving up as well. They might be able to pick up that base camp, put it into the circle. But look at that circle. This is going to be devastating for LSD. Where can you even position? It is all controlled by the Shy.
So I like the fact that they're just poking and prodding and trying to find that opening, but you're right, they have to make a move, and Shy has to know it's going to be when they're on that little island that they're taking up right now. But like if they don't get a kidnap, they decide to go now.
Chains connected onto yes, sir. They're battling over the base camp control. Shichi's low. They got the singularity, but it missed. And all the while, damage brawl. They lose out on the drama brawl. And now the Shy in control of the base camp again. LSD on the outskirts 2v3.
An enemy oracle is scanning.
Avalanche was thrown and hit nobody too, so that's on cooldown. That's a tool they don't have. I didn't see the boombox come out. And they're not going to let you get that crown off.
Shichi, though, has picked it up and dodging away. Might be able to get into Skyratch run. Levathy punted back that whole way, swapping back. Blast off the takedown. Void. Crown no more. The Shy, 4th in a row.
Hachi was not going to give you that chance. Cannonballs, takes out, sees the other one, says you won some too, and punches him right into the wall with a beautiful haymaker. Gave him the 1-2 combo. 2 people down. Happy birthday. Shy continues their win streak with 4 unanswered by these other teams. And there's that universe that they were actually eliminated. They were so close with, I forget what team it was camping out, but they were able to escape, reconvene, find their positioning, get those picks, and play for the end game. GG's to Shy. GG's to LSD for just, like, I'll be honest, I don't really recognize any of these names. I'm not as ingrained in the EU scene, but I want to be.
So I was reading the chat, and Pensato did say that I think that this is one of their not their first tournament, but like one of their first tournaments that they've been playing at least at this level. So LSD,
Oh.
a newer team to the scene. I've seen Drama Brawl before. I've watched Shichi. I haven't seen Levithy before, but seeing this squad, they are newer to the scene, and they are looking really good so far.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are
they've got
not
like a
wrong with
good
that.
macro control. It seems like they managed to dance their way around a lot of teams, and they've got like a lot of potency as well with that with the Void. But we've not seen them in like a lot of mega fights, so we don't know. I'm not sure if they've been tested in that aspect, but their playstyles, leading to they're getting good value with how they're playing so far.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we look at game 2, when we had the group stage, they did get first place in that one, and they did have 10 points. It was tied with that of Three Little Pigs, who also had 10 kills from that.
Yeah.
But still, it's like LSD are a team that are willing to like have these fights. It's not like they are just trying to avoid any of the danger, but they're much more of this macro team. But then you look at a team like the Shy, and it feels like this is the super team of EU. They have gotten some of the best players in EU all on one team, and it is almost looking like we are getting a repeat of the old Bomba days for EU, where Bomba were the dominant team in EU, winning every single tournament, nearly winning every single game. The Shy kind of taking up that mantle for themselves now as the new Bomba.
I'm just going to chime in
It's kind-
here. We've got the
Go
next
ahead.
two bands, and we're going to see if the Shy continue to be that super team, like you mentioned. When two of their characters are going to be banned, we will see no more Myth or Bishop for the rest of the finals.
Myth we expected. The Bishop was the question, right? We expected that in the first rotation. It didn't happen. Myth we knew was going to happen in this one, but Bishop does end up getting banned. So will really change up how a lot of these teams are going to approach the game. And as you talked about for the Shy, how do they reel from this one? Because, well, yes, Saros first Brocane is still there. Hachi and Yasser, especially Yasser, one of the best myths there is in the entire world, now has to go to something else. And you normally be like, okay, well, you go to Carbine. Well, Carbine's gone too. Instead, it's do you go for Ghost? This is something I was talking about before with the Carbine ban. Or do you go to something more like a Shrike? Really try to change up the meta and go for a long range hunter like that.
That's the $1 million question right now. And I appreciate that you said Shy is like the new Bomba, at least for this weekend, because we still have 3 members of Bomba in this lobby, and they're all playing exceptionally well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to see what they do to step up, because again, there's something to be said about that experience. And now Shy, they they had to have a backup plan, right? There's no way they could think that these 2 popular hunters would go unbanned the entire tournament. So let's see if they all have the experience amongst themselves to have had that plan, practiced it, and most importantly, are they able to execute it in the face of Bomba, Split, but Bomba, TTV, and these experienced teams, and apparently LSD, brand new, but playing
Right.
out of their minds.
And this is what I wanted to interrupt and say this because Reliq just said a really good tidbit is that LSD is so new and so green that he hadn't even put them into the roster for Vive Night because they were such an unknown quantity. So they ended up going on the reserved list. But you better bet after this kind of showing they've got today for the Pensato is hosting a tournament that they are definitely going to be a team that we will keep our eyes on in the future. But looking at how things are going to adapt
Jewel Celeste.
Jewel Celeste, I'm still seeing a lot of Brawl, which is what I'm expecting to be the next band to join R4 already on the bench later on.
I could see Kingpin Brawl, but no, Shy went Jewel Celeste
Interesting.
as their 2 other picks. Let's see how it works out for them as they hot drop right next to TTV.
TTV, they've got a pretty solid core already. That Zeph that we're talking about that they had for themselves on Tom Cake's shoulders, and then having a Felix too has been very spicy to see. I like that they now have the Ori on to Krista. That has kind of been the backup for the Ori as well. it's really cool to see how these teams are all changing and what they all think is the strongest. We see a team like the Red Frogs here, Niza back onto that Taurus, being really the only other player outside of Sprokane to play that, and then having themselves with BlackRock back on Brawl, Tredsy onto Zeph. They're really, really interesting that each team kind of has their own idea of what they think now that those 4 strong hunters are banned, that are going to take up the mantle from there.
Just want to point this out. Red Frogs did secure Bebo's boombox, so expect a lot of early fighting from them while they want to utilize that advantage they have. I'm going to step away for just a second, so I'm going to leave it to Magical and Symeri.
good.
But this is going to be exciting.
So Symeri,
Awesome.
kind of looking at these bands, I want to pick your brain on this one a little bit. Like, what do you think is the idea for a lot of these teams when it comes to how the bans are now and really having to dig down? Is it more just what they're comfortable on at this point? It's no longer about meta. It's just, hey, we've lost our most powerful hunters. We need to start playing comfort.
Yeah, for the most part. Like I know, like for example, Adamok is very fond of Felix, but he's been in Oath prison forever, so he's finally getting the opportunity to unleash his Felix. So I'm happy for him. But I think, especially with Shy, I know that Hachi predominantly used to play Jewel back in the days, but considering her nerfs over the course of the game's progression, she's still not in the best place right now. And even with Oath being omnipresent in EU, well, kind of losing its presence, but still like 50% ish. It kind of makes Jules Day really, really hard. So, but with Oath being banned as well, at the same time, she might have enough breathing room to get a couple of clips, at least in this game. I'm hoping some people pop off.
I think another fun one to kind of look at is we were seeing a little bit of Celeste. Obviously, we know certain players like Draco is really fond of Celeste, but now that
Yeah.
you've lost things like Myth, we are seeing that taken up by players like Ysera. I know that is usually their follow-up when not playing Myth is usually Celeste, but not quite as dominating of a performance as we usually see like with Myth.
Yeah, and I think the lapse in confidence that some players might encounter might also change their game plan just inadvertently. So, let's say because Hachi's been playing predominantly Bishop for the most of the tourneys and things of that nature, he might be slightly rusty. Potentially. I've not seen him play. Maybe he's played arenas recently and just scrape the rust off. But only time will tell.
We see Team Turbo Velocity fighting against BBB. Chasing down, Neox missing the pull, taking an early death, and then the Red Frogs on the other side. They've got Gold and a boombox on their side. Ori a little bit too aggressively, not having control of the falls. Nearly spiked down, tries to dash away, but the hunt is there from the Frogs to take down one of the members of TTV.
Oof. Looking good for them so far.
I'll say I also like looking at some of these other teams that don't really have to change up any of their strategy going into a lot of these games. LSD,
Right.
they have been running the same comp every single game as we just see FBI run into the train. It wasn't even bullet train. They just go right into it, paying more attention to Mad that were in front of them.
I feel like they're in some sort of panic situation and just weren't aware of what's going on.
Exactly. They had all this attention on Mad, and they're like, okay, we need to retreat. We need to get out of here. It's not bullet trains. We don't have to pay that much attention, but you always got to pay attention for the train. Because right now, the fight inside of Vane Grove SB, looking to see if they can take on the lethal sudden death. But they are going to stay back. And then Mad joining in as well. And here in the laser, LSD are going to play a lot more defensively. They don't want to put themselves at risk, even if it's over a Fate Rewinder right here. They're waiting it out. They spotted Mad. They might look for some of the plays themselves, but they are going to have to dash away. They're taking the long path as well. And so close. It is going to be secured by Mad with a pull, but LSD have never not been here, and they are chasing down. It's just Shichi into the back line against the Stormbreakers, missing the lightning crash. FBI going to be our first team eliminated off screen, while LSD, they have been split up, but Mad Academy, it is going to be difficult for them to escape. Bungee shot. They jump forward. They're looking for Onagiri. He tries to go for the flame shield, but he's separated from Manic Academy, and Mad in a bad spot. Drama Brawl will take the change back to the rest of the team. Even if you have the Magic Reactive Burst, it didn't do enough to actually pick up any of these kills. But Mad, LSD, they'll both survive, and they'll both fall back.
And there we go to see the Fang pick up on Treadsy as well. They got that uncontested, so that's really nice for them. Extra XP as well.
I'm still looking at this as LSD. They never stopped this chase. I thought they would have relented at some point, but right outside of Kobayashi, Singularity locking down to take down Hans. Ibo, you need to get into town, but the bungee shot keeping you right at the edge, barely getting back. Well, LLL, ZZ is there. The train I thought was about to claim another victim, but a little bit too slow to actually do so.
Enemy Oracle online.
Uh-oh. Ibo, do you get it in time, or is it going to be TP'd away? I think and it's TP'd away just in time to deny Mad that revive. Oh no, actually they did get it. They got Hans, I think, with a death box revive instead, so Ibo might die, but Hans and Onigiri are still alive, and anywhere but here we'll get Felix right into the middle of the Molten Fortress.
See the potential big fight here from Kausk and TTV.
Kalskinator gonna be the one taking a lot of the attention. Vortex Charm missing. Second win, trying to push them back, then heals up the members of TTV. Missed 200, staying far back, but they are playing cautiously because they know that TTV, if they're ever able to get a snowball rolling for themselves, they are unstoppable, and that's why they decide to fall back while we go back up to the north. And the Red Frogs, LLL, staring one another down. LLL are gonna ride the rings and stay away, but LSD have slowly been moving down the tracks and looking for their better position.
We see they're kind of under-leveled now as well at the moment, only level 8s. Don't have that level 2 ulti, which can be quite pivotal in certain fights. Oh, Slam doesn't connect here. Oh, on both sides.
I don't think it matters, though, because Neox, even if you have the two-way tunnel, where do you go from here? Miss 200, they can move down, same with Storm Breakers. Neox might have actually juked them because Three Little Pigs now have to pay attention to the teams that were moving down to try to intervene. And that two-way tunnel is about to end. Tree combo, it misses, but they got the heal with the second win. They're burst down, summon Napalm, doing a lot to the Three Little Pigs. They might be roasted, but missed. Have to be careful on how they're playing. Clarny down, Aiden over the abyss. No spikes, but Neox has been able to get the respawn back in his base. And Three Little Pigs, who had beaten BBB before, now down to 1.
Oh, it's not ending here.
No, just non-stop action across the board. This time it's the Shy fighting against Turbo Velocity. Burning, Flame Shield, even an emergency platform, but the resets from Hachi. Look at Tom taking the Ori, trying to see if they can take down the low health, but Ori is taken down as Hachi finds the resets. Jewel is here online. Vortex Charm locking them down, but Tom has nowhere to go. Surging forward, but Tom is trying to survive as he puts a bit of damage back onto the Shy. Turbo Velocity aren't out just yet, but where can you go? Where can you escape, Tom? It's not looking too good. Vortex Charm is gone, and guess what? Behind you, Manic Academy. They're showing up, but they might be able to intervene. Tom avoiding the snipes. He needs to heal up second win to push back Sprokane. And he has to land one auto onto Sprokane, who has to relent. Fall back because Mad and LLL had all shown up. BBB will get eliminated off screen by LSD.
Well, the chase continues. Is it going to get...
But
the
the
dunk!
new team, though, missing with the bungee shot, but the random shot from ZZ from LLL will eliminate TTV. While Mad fight against the Storm Breakers, the pull onto the Wisp might be able to revive the team. Shin, so close. A dunk attempted and allowing for the resets, while Detbarek might fall. Gecko revives Shin and then looks for Detbarek, while Mad can't do the same for their fallen brethren. In Deathbox already, and SB are waiting for the pull once more.
Get away with it now. They get the full reset, luckily. Top side, we've got 3LP and a True here. Yui's going to have to make it out. Oh, but 3LP and TRF on the other side.
There's
He's
the two-way
for
tunnel.
now.
Red Frogs do take the tunnel. Black Rock going for the dunk. He jumps back out of the other side of the portal, but Mist are on the play, and they are looking to see if they can get any damage, but it's difficult. With 9 squads still up and so much action, Symeri, these teams are going back and forth, constantly wanting a battle for control of the Molten Fortress as a spike with a pull onto LSD. No crown play for Drama Brawl, and LSD, you might have had a good showing in Game 4, but here, Game 5, it's been difficult as we see Mad taken out by the Red Frogs. The Shy have struggled so far, It could be the Red Frogs on the pounce as they try to get into the back line. Yasur is barely gliding away, but guess what? LLL wants some revenge. This is dangerous for the Shy as they're pushed only to one eliminated. The earliest they have exited this series, this tournament, as they fall out at 7th place. LLL now on the run inside of the Molten Fortress. SB looking for any plays as LLL in a bad spot. The surge forward with the dunk on the Spider Brawl. ZZ the next target as another squad eliminated. The Red Frogs still in the play. Looking down the Storm Breakers, but both teams need to heal up and reconvene.
Looks like TRF have acquired a lot of power over the course of this game. A lot of it was uncontested as well, so fair play to them. It feels like Shy played almost a slow game in comparison to what they've been playing previously.
It feels like
Unfortunately, it didn't pan out for them.
Finally put on a composition they're not as comfortable with. Now we're
Yeah.
starting to see the cracks in the armor for this team.
Yep. And I also have to say at the same time, like this Molten Fortress has been, you know, a lot of activity just happening here consistently. You know, just outside we had a SB fighting. They managed that recovery, and then Shy and Triple I also fighting up here. I always find it one of those like rare biomes where you see a lot of action, and I find that sometimes teams are not too they don't know really how to play it too well sometimes.
It's because it's one of those things where you aren't able to spike people and get the instant kill. Yes, lava is going to do a lot of damage, but there'll always be that moment where they can get back up and they can play for a fight once more. And I feel like that gives a lot of players that confidence to move forward, to always look for these fights, as opposed to before where they're willing to be a little bit more wary on how their positioning is, be a little bit more respectful towards the competition. Here, I think it's like you said, players aren't as familiar with not having that instant spike, so that's why they're willing to play so much more aggressively.
And it's also because it's like a cage in some sense, you know, this all, you know, 3 walls surrounding it. So if you do find yourselves, you know, you don't have Saros or some sort of like way to get over the wall, it's you're going to be kind of stuck.
Oh, true. They attempted to enter into the Molten Fortress through those thick walls. They got in, but unfortunately they ran right into the Red Frogs, and only Dracos remains. They have that base camp outside. Dracos almost gets the TP away, but couldn't recall in time. And now the 3 little pigs are hunting down. This is their house they built up, and Chew are not welcome here as they try to skate away, but a second win combo will eliminate one more squad while the Red Frogs were fighting in the 3-way battle. Mr. the first one to lose someone as a pull will land. SB taking control. Trezzy eliminated by the slug wave as they get a lot of damage from Niza, but Niza can't do enough, and the hopping wisp will die to the lava.
We're seeing a 3OP taking very nice fights here, fights that benefit them in you know, accurately, like, you know, pincer movement on certain squads and like stragglers, and they're executing that really well.
Let's hear Red Frogs. Crown for Black Frog with lava and the change, but no health to work with. Second win, sniping him down as Mister now back in the game, even with the boombox. Nice to try to get away, but no portal will save your day. There's one more team in the grave, and 3 staring one another down. Who will be the kings of the fortress?
You see like a big power exchange now. Believe SB, well, sorry, it's TRF that used to have some of these red powers. Now over onto 3LP. So, especially in these small, like claustrophobic corridors, the Fang the Scale can do a lot of work with a big stun.
And we even see that the boombox that was put down earlier, it was in lava. I didn't know who was going to pick it up. Mist end up given to Calcinator, so a little bit more that they can play with to keep themselves alive, especially with this lava that could come in clutch.
Yep.
Ooh. But looking at the teams right now, Armor Soul for Mist 200 is the Stormbreakers with a Night Stalker Soul for themselves. Only 3 LP. While they have a lot of that exotic powers, as you were talking about just now, Symeri, it is rough for them on how they can move around easily. If they aren't able to find the full engage, like if they aren't able to find that pick on the Gecko, it is going to be rough for them because every single time they miss a play, it's an easy reset for either SB or for Mist.
It's a very opportunistic there, and if he hit that stun, it would have been actually massive because SB were kind of split there. 2 of them on the right side just before that, so managed to make it away though.
It's the standoff between our 3 teams, and as a lot of people always say in Super 5, whichever team starts the engage is the team destined to lose. It's seeming difficult for a lot of these squads, and they're not wanting to be that first one to pull the trigger, but eventually they're going to have to, even if we see how this circle is, and every team will claim a section of the circle. Eventually, it's going to get too rough, and you're going to really be pushed into one another. And I love the fact that we are in Molten Fortress with the glider engines, so we don't have the play over the abyss where everyone's just gliding away with the crown to try to survive. You don't get that luxury here.
Go look at. I feel like MST have like mostly defensive utility here in terms of powers as well. So those Sam walls are going to be potentially pivotal here, depending on what sort of skills come out. It definitely respected poke from 3LP. You know, you've got the Zeph and Clerney on Krista there.
Cask took a lot of damage, barely rides the tornado back to safety. And this is what I'm talking about for 3LP. Using a lot to try to get the pick onto Cask, but they can reset. They've got Armor Soul, and look, all that damage they did to that tier 3 armor is nearly evaporated right before their eyes.
Yep, and Gecko's got that. Luckily, to have the soul, just giving them that extra pressure on KP. So MST have to play like very very calculated and careful on these little islands. They can't just cross for free, because if Gecko gets the hook, it's one of those Venus flytrap kind of actions. The whole team just gobbles him up.
But for Mist, they do get this luxury. The circle is going to move back towards them. It seemed like it was going to slowly move everyone within the walls of Molten Fortress. It still remains within there, but it is going towards Mist. So that's why 3LP were hoping for a pick onto any of the members. And SB slowly move their way up, utilizing the Night Soccer Soul to claim claim of that one standing stone right in the middle of the circle.
Oh, these Vortex Charms are so close to hitting like 3-mans.
Mist decide to go for the play onto 3 little pigs. They want to take out a squad first, but they're taken low, and now they've sent down the nukes, the clusters to lock them down. Mist struggle to get away as SB punish Mist being that first team to engage. And this is what we talked about, the team to engage, often the one to lose at the end is Shroom. The next one taken down. Pokeball gets the stun with the help of the lava. They're trying to revive Shroom. He's back on his feet, but SB still in control. That Barek trying to keep Clarny pinned back, but Clarny battling back to take out one. Stomping on the 3 little pigs. Have all 3. A crown for Shin, but the storm is starting to hurt as they pump out the damage. Fuselage, they had to go for the spike backwards. Instead of going for the full-on play, SB are hoping for one more reset. They've got double soul this time around. Pull almost landing for the 3 little pigs, but they've got the 2-way tunnel. They're dashing in, but keep in mind, you just gifted them back the time. They might be able to play back into this one. Aiden hopping back and forth. He is revived, but 30 seconds now on the clock for SB. They just need one more play like that, and look at the broken armor on Aiden. He's going to be an easy target, especially if Gecko is able to land this pull. He's waiting it out, trying to see what they can land. 20 seconds. 3LP, you need to play aggressively now. You can't give them this time. 15 seconds remain on the clock. Looking for the pull from Gecko, missing. But now they've got the bungee shot, trying to keep them alive. But they're locked down with only 5 seconds remaining. The snipe to deny SB.
Oh my God.
3 little pigs will take the game.
Everyone played their part there. The way that it was kind of almost criminal that Aiden got that res off. I think it was with Orb, right? He had Orb, and then.
Yep.
Oh my God. And they had no armors, and they took one out when they had no armors through OP. Oh my God, that was just perfect macro there.
Not only did they take them out, but Clarny was surrounded and still got a knock in a 2v1 or 3v1 scenario. That was outrageous, because was it Aiden or was it Shroom who got knocked right out the gate, got the Orb of Life, started reviving, and was able to escape with a fraction of an HP, while Clarity just was scrapping, punching, kicking, whatever he could, and got a knock that kept them in that fight. Also,
Go ahead.
So I just real quick, one thing I noticed that cracked me up was Aiden put walls behind them so they couldn't be pincered or backdoored or whatever. And then the nuke dropped and the walls almost blocked them in. Like, fortunately, he didn't put a third one up because they had that exit route, but they almost got trapped by the walls of their own making. And I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah, 100%. They played that so well. Like the whole game, to be honest, it was a flawless execution, I would say. And we know that Shroom is that's Zep is one of his other mains that he played for a long time. He was one of the B hop gods in EU. So it's nice to see a return to form from him.
You're not wrong with that. And it's funny. I wanted to point out something. Magical mentioned, and this is the common practice. It didn't work out for MST there. You don't want to be in the first fight when there's 3 teams remaining. Just kind of common knowledge at this point. But there's one exception, or there's a few exceptions, but one really big one, and that is if you have a kingpin. If there's 3 teams left, you can go fishing, and only 2 teams had the kingpin there, and MST was not them. So they were forced to jump pad, they were forced to fight, and in turn, the third party immediately came in and took them out. So while the other 2 teams were just throwing hooks and applying that pressure, MST was forced to make a move, and they were just caught in that horrible, unfortunate situation that was built around the team comps. So it's it's something I like about this kind of ban setting because we get to see more kingpins come out. We get to see more ghosts come out and things like that that force people to play differently. So just good job. Great survivability by 3LP. Just this is so exciting. And Shy going down there early, something like 6th, 7th, 8th. TTV also dropping earlier than we expected. Tom Kick was able to escape, but unfortunately ran into another team. And 2 teams is just too much for a lone Zeph there.
Yep, and we're seeing some more switch ups as Pensato just mentioned. We've got Hachi on Shiv. He's dabbled in Shiv before. We've seen this unconventional pick from Yasa, which was a Kingpin. I've not seen him on Kingpin before, so we're going to see how that one pans out.
Alrighty, let's see how these teams, like how everything is going to go for this one. Because now, while yes, we don't have to worry about the bans. After this game, we are going to have to take into consideration what is going to be taken away, and it has affected some of our teams already. The Shy, being the dominant team beforehand, they had the strategy where that composition wasn't too likely to get banned away, but eventually it was, especially that myth taken from Yasser. It feels like losing that and Bishop have completely gutted this team. So I'm looking at other squads and how they're going to be able to reel in from the next bans. I'm thinking Kingpin and Brawl. Those are the ones that are, maybe even Zeph sneaks their way in there.
Oh yeah,
I
100% could be.
I feel like KP Brawl are definitely the safe picks. And there's actually something I wanted to talk about with Shy kind of earlier on, just an observation. But if you notice, so I'm going to go back to squads for a little bit. There was a little team called the Homie Kissers.
Mm-hmm.
And then when squads became trios, the teams decided to split 2 and 2, and they became charged up. And I think it was the Homie Huggers. I forget which was Sprokane and Shroom, and they picked up Aiden. And that team, unfortunately, didn't perform as well as they wanted. And I'm not sure the inner workings. I'm positive there was no bad blood. But Sprokane ended up leaving that team to form Shy, it looks like. And look at the success they've had. Both teams now, all of a sudden, we have Three Little Pigs and Shy as 2 of the top teams in this lobby. And it all stemmed from the Homie Kissers, who are not necessarily one of the like forefront teams, but it's just really cool to see like how they've split into 3 of the strongest teams in this lobby. So I just wanted to give some little EU lore sprinkled in there while we're waiting for day 1 shenanigans to come to a close.
Yeah, it's interesting. We see from Triple I that they went for the early level 7 and just instantly went on Mad there and took one out. So they're going to be quite formidable as day 2 approaches shortly.
kind of looking at how the teams are spread out at the moment, what they're looking for, and it's kind of what we have seen. There is a lot of this aggression between all of our teams, but they are also trying to play towards that second night, especially. The first night, first day, not as impactful. Yes, there's some fights that happen, but we haven't had that many eliminations. FBI, I saw Zug say in chat that he accidentally used second win and pushed his team into the train. That's what happened, and that's how they got hit by the
Okay.
train. And
Yeah, okay.
so it's unfortunate for the team, but it is also interesting to just kind of see how most of these teams, now that we are in the finals, even if they have these early fights, they are still able to survive a lot of them, get themselves back up on their feet. Like, how many times have we talked about the three little pigs being down only to Aiden, yet somehow resurrect and are back in fights later on, contending for wins, as we saw them win that last game.
Seeing Mad trying something again against Triple I here, but that level disadvantage is just not enough here, and they also have item disadvantage running into Chu here. Oh, the hook does connect.
The
Man
hook.
down.
Nice hook and the burst to take down Hans. LLL are on the other side as Manic Academy, Onigiri looking pretty tasty. They're trying to eat back, but it is going to be Spider Ball taking some of the attention away from this. Felix to allow a flame bolt spike. Chew, you bit off more than you can chew, even if you find the knock on to Onigiri. Doing a great job of keeping the team alive, getting some points for the team, and now putting Chu in a bad spot as Mist tried to punish Baroof, finding his own dunk. Nobody who should fight over these rings. Everyone who tries to go up against those in control end up falling.
I can't believe Baroof's movement right there. The discipline over that abyss to not get spiked. Again, 99.9% of players in the world are getting spiked there. Good damage and the snipe from Niza to finish off Shroom. Three little pigs. Can you demonstrate again that all you need is one? All you need is Aiden to fight your way back. This is going to be like, you've got the heart, you have your options, but everybody's in this area. So can you do it again, but a little bit harder this time? Possibly a lot of bit. And ooh, Slug Wave kind of whiffed there. Man, I wanted to talk about where the storm is going, but everybody is scrapping right now.
They're scrapping, and they see that there's a Guardian Archangel to the north as well in Vane Grove. They want it. Miss 200. Fight against Chu. Vortex Charm lands, but with the armor, it's too thick to crack. That's why they saw it to fall back. But SP take the advantage of those two teams squabbling so they can take themselves the exotic. Should be able to get out of there pretty easily, while BBB Neox in a bad spot despite popping oracles, getting hunted down by the red frogs right into mana coils. They are keeping an eye. A nice glide away with Icarus, but Neox has got to go a long ways away to try to survive. Bullion is still alive and could get a revive elsewhere.
And
it looks like off
as well. So he's going to be able to. It's likely he's going to be able to escape. That's why I did the quick item check. I saw he had that extra evasiveness. I was wondering, yep, he is going to make it out.
And SB, well, they got the Guardian Archangel before. TTV are looking to take that away. The help from Charge Up on the other side. Eye of the Storm trying to avoid the ire of the teams, but TTV now charging into the fortress controlled by Chu. Chin is down, SB are out. But it is going to be Chu collecting on some of the bounties, unable to get the exotics though. With TTV and Charge Up staring one another down. Adamark stomping on the whiff to try to get the kill, but he's got to be careful because here comes a slam. Slug Wave, Felix gone. And now TTV on the run.
That was a little ambitious out of Adamark. I know you want the powers, you want the prize. Oh, nice little ulti just to secure it there. But putting yourself out of position when the team was clearly looking to escape, that was questionable choices there for that little bit of a prize. And I don't even know what they were going for. Off screen, we did notice 3 blind mice. Aiden was able to get them back, or 3 little pigs. I am so sorry. 3 little pigs were revived, but also started dropping again. So they're once again going to be asking Aiden to put in some work to get everybody back up.
Must be looking for that res opportunity somewhere. Might be able to do like middle of the map potentially on these little islands.
And we have a team eliminated. Red Frogs find Bulligon. So BBB, unfortunately, going to be our first team eliminated. We are in night 2. And this is kind of what I was talking about. This
Checking
tends to be
brush.
where a lot of our teams start to actually have the full fights and we start losing some of the squads.
So I'm going to be a little concerned for, I think that was LSD on the far left there, but whatever team's on the far left, because now as we approach daytime and the big resource here, what a dunk! Oh, didn't quite
But
secure it.
Onigiri mantling just in time to survive. Regardless, SB were able to stick the landing. They bring back Shen. They have their own base camp on the respawn beacon, so they should be fine for now. But we look at the Shy. As a team that has been struggling with the new comp they now have to run. They're looking for the pull. Yes, they're not going to be able to land that. While Sprokane try to get some of the damage onto the Red Frogs. Red Frogs, they hold the mantle of Bomba. And you were talking about narrative before. The Homie Kissers, they were broken up to make this team. And then you have the Red Frogs on the other side that are still holding the mantle of Bomba. Tredsy and Niza from the dominant performance have added in Black Rog here. And are looking to see if they can take down the top team currently.
No kidding. And oh, just before this other fight gets in, all I wanted to point out was that there's not a lot of creeps in Enshrine. The dunk and the instant deletion of Cass. Will they be able to get a res off the hook to secure the Wisp? Says no, you cannot glide away with your friend. This is our trophy. The Shiv ult misses just a little to the left as there's a fight over here. Speaking of little to the left, as the ship decides to go in.
They're trying to get the kills. They're trying to get the fight. But the Shy, they see that they're weakened. They try to get the kills on the Black Frog, but he survives. Niza avoiding the danger zone, but Tredsy will be stomped down, leaving only 2 for the Red Frogs.
Woo! Way to secure and narrowly skirt away from that. Again, to go back, all I wanted to say was people are going to be denied creeps as we approach this end game, those who are in Enshrine. But man, these teams do not want to give me a chance to talk as we have another fight with Charged Up hunting down TTV. TTV able to secure the soul, and they know they have a mountain to climb to get back into this. Hook somehow threads the needle between all 3 of them, and now all of a sudden it is TTV's turn to go on the aggressive.
They're trying to get any play but gold armor for all Charge Up members. Difficult to actually fully aggress onto. While we look over to FBI, they got eliminated earlier on in our second game of the finals. Now they're beating the Mad Maniac Academy, but the Shy almost were able to snipe that away. They do actually snipe it out. While Sprokane now throwing down some orbs, bringing in the team with the portals as they look to play aggressively. Of Chilling Finale trying to separate the fight, but guess what? They're waiting it out. They've got the play. Sprokane might be down, but he's getting revived. They could get on top of him, but they put down the summon napalm. Fierce a lot, not doing enough. The Shy are out of here at 10th place, eliminated by FBI.
FBI played that so well to secure that little knock. And they Shy overstayed their welcome with what Aiden likes to call save your friend syndrome, where you want to stick around and see if you can help them, and they overstayed that welcome. FBI played that immaculately to eliminate such a strong team.
So another early exit for the Shy. What was that? 7th place in the last game here, 10th place knockout. Very early for the Shy after dominating 4 victories in a row, 3 from the second lobby, first game of the finals. But now that they have lost their myth combo with Bishop, it seems that they are weakened, and teams now it's a free-for-all for who can get into the top. 3 Little Pigs have been the most adaptable so far, and they are still standing strong.
And I think you said the word of the day right there. It's adaptation. How can these teams adapt? What a hook! But the iframe's coming out, and he gets it anyway. Kalskinator was able to ult, use the iframes, avoid the dunk, but somehow it still worked out in the favor of KP right there. And TTV still hungry and still trying to get in on the action.
That's Cask wearing the crown, hoping to get Kalskinator back into the game for Miss 200. But it's a lot that they have to go through. So many players and teams still exist trying to vie for control of any part around the tracks. It's bullet trains, keep that in mind. So we will start centering around the track soon. Bubba's Brains contested, or Sean nearly taken down, but it looks like TTV might have gotten control because Chu decided to go for Mist, but it has given up control over to TTV, who do burn it down. I think they were able to collapse and take control of Bubba's Brains, while
TTV got
LLL
it.
coming in from the north.
I think that eye above means that they're the ones with it. If
I
I'm
think,
not
yeah,
mistaken.
you see the like little rainbow particle? That means that they've got it. Chu got it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Okay,
I
thank
didn't
you for
know
the
that either.
And
clarification.
Orb of Life, there's like a green particle that emits for Orb. So you'll know specifically which players have Orb as well.
God, I love this game so much. You're always learning something new. Symeri, you're great. And that's a great thing for Charged Up, not only because, well, one, it's a strong power, but in the hands of TTV, they really are good at using Bubba's Brains. So that's a great denial right there. And a Duncan's
Life Brains.
ult to get it started.
No one fallen just yet. Low health bars, low armor. LSD now showing up, and it seems that every other game is when this team starts to pop off. And now going into this one with the bullet train, they wanted that fight against SB, but they are split up. Everything not with the team. Waiting to see what angle they can look for while we go down south and we see the Red Frogs are getting collapsed. TTB pushing them into the storm. It's just Niza trying to avoid everybody with the portals to get away. But guess what? Tom is on your position as he's trying to eliminate the Red Frogs, but they will survive just by Niza's shoulders.
I think that was one of those that they wanted everybody to chase through the portal and only Tom did. So just a little bit of miscommunication right there.
Chew down. We lost to our team that was able to get the Bubba's Brains, and Adamark is hunting down Kuba, who now wears the crown to try to get away. Cass pushing them away from their position. The Mist are surrounded as LLL help out TTV. They make sure Cass is gone, but Kuba still is alive. The last hope for Mist 200 to try to survive this game.
And he just keeps running into everybody and everyone. And I don't think you're surviving this. What a fortunate circumstance for FBI. A crown delivered right into their laps, but you're not out of the woods just yet. As two teams collapse on you, you aren't able to get one. LLL gets the drop on the Zeph.
Look at
They
this.
are
They've
separated.
already made sure that one is going to survive. Lingo decided to peel away, but guess what? Runs right into TTV, and it is a chilling finale for FBI. They might have been able to eliminate the Shy, but the Shield decided to survive and skate out of there. TTV, they overcommit, because look up north. Adamark was nearly picked off by LLL. Now Shin is in the middle with the Fusillade, getting a lot of damage, but he had to snap back, and the Red Frogs are still there with Niza holding on to dear life to keep the team alive. Every team now remaining nearly formed up. 3 LP. They had lost Aiden before, and they got 50 seconds left on their crown.
50 long sec. Will you get away from this? This might be the crowd up they needed. Aiden is back up as they're able to secure that kill. Now LLL, half health bars, half armors, having to run away. And LSD looking for the pick right there. But Clerney's seen this before. He knows the play, and they were expecting it, just saving that shift, holding it. But now 3LP may find themselves in the middle of two teams as the storm is going to start converging to the northwest here. They're going to have to keep people pushed away. TTV already trying to save their place in line for the storm movement.
And with 5 squads still alive, every team having all players, it is getting crowded. Shichi looking for a pull, and guess what? They're dragging in the Ori, but he dashes back with a double dash. While Stormbreakers slowly move up in the south. 3LP on the tracks themselves, but they're going to be fine for now. Another pull almost attempted by Shichi. We even talk about that. The LSD have swapped up, not having Shichi on the Ghost anymore. Has gone for Kingpin, probably right before it's going to get banned.
Do you notice Gecko's dodge right there? It was looking like Neo out of the Matrix, just something like Spider-Man where Tobey Maguire is just dodging that punch. Oh, he gets the hook!
Oh, the pull! Dragon and LSD, but Drama Brawl!
Not enough.
The salvo finally finding the pick onto Drama Brawl. And now 3LP, they're looking to pounce. The walls are collapsing onto LSD, and that's why they had to separate. They bail on their home. But this is given an opportunity as LLL still control the north of the circle. TTV on the other side. They got the kill onto Drama Brawl. Levity, the last one. Void dragged back in by Gecko. Slug Wave almost eliminating LSD. They have one more player. I'm not sure where they were able to go, but but LLL looking at TTV and looking for the damage onto Tom Kick, while Shichi's looking for their own pull, the last one remaining for LSD in the middle of everybody. No crown, no hope, spiked down as LSD are gone.
Dang, off of the back of the beautiful play by Aiden to just sweep the leg of LSD. And again, once there's that crack in the armor, everybody pounces. He goes for the same move again, but unfortunately for him gets nobody. And the two-way TP is set up, giving TTV an exit or maybe a chance to trap somebody if they accidentally step on that. Oh, they aren't able to hook anybody.
But a TP to steal away the base for TTV. They're going to be fine in mana coils as we have two teams up in the north. LLL and TTV are going to control the northern part, while SB and Three Little Pigs are going to be the teams in the south. Only 3LP will really be threatened on their position, having to move onto the position of SB.
Aiden tried to do the combo where you chain back and throw your hook at the same time so that they travel with you, and he messed up the tech. Oh, the trade is hungry.
Aiden hoping
Ooh.
to have the bullet train helping him out as well. Nice lockdown. This is where do they decide to
That's
pounce.
a lot of
They
damage.
got damage. Ashikata, though, standing strong, and he's battling back as he dashed back with the rest of his team. Should be able to revive ZZ. They even put down the boom box while Aiden's been revived on the other side. They're getting a little bit of damage. Not going to be able to get the pull. It's going to be Spider Brawl right in the middle of them.
Train!
Watch out for the train. Almost was able to get that for their Little Pigs, but they were able to survive. But the storm is now the next threat. They throw down the cluster to make it impossible for 3LL to get in. They're taking way too much from the
Two-way
storm.
TP.
It's raining down on them as they have barely any help, and that's why Adamark pounces on them. Spider Brawl taken down by the storm. TTV still in control. They're back into the mana coils as we're down to 3.
Did you see that? Stormbreakers were edge guarding Three Little Pigs. Oh!
Shin wasn't paying attention. Another train kill, and it gives it over to TTV as well, as Aiden was looking for the pull, but with 3 teams there and the pull onto the zone, they're all going to be forced onto 3 Little Pigs. It's now Storm Breakers being broken by the Storm Slug. Wait,
They got
360
resets.
does nothing, as it's the 2 teams remaining, 3 Little Pigs and TTV, and with the train taking 2 with it, they're now pushed back. TTV, the heel on the other side of the boombox put down, might be able to delay the fight for a little bit, but you see the crown on a shroom as he's trying to get any damage onto TTV. Adam or Tom Kick, they dash forward. They're looking for shroom. They want to get rid of the contender to their throne at TTV. They've been in control for this game, but they got to be careful because all it takes is one to turn the game around. Another train coming in, not going to be able to lock him underneath. Well, shroom took a little bit of damage. Vortex Shroom dodged
Fate
away
Rewinder.
with the Fate Rewinder, but look at how much damage each side has been able to muster and deal out to themselves as they're trying to get away. The
No
shroom
mana.
somehow surviving. Tom gone. Only a couple of seconds left onto the crown, but it's up to Adam Ark. Felix against Krista and Zeph. They have the instant fortress. Flame Shield missing. 1v3, but now it's impossible as 3 Little Pigs win another game.
Shroom said, "Let's go fly a kite," and was kiting his rear end off there at the end. I thought he was going to look with that red GA for where is Aiden's box. Let's get that revive going. I don't know if it was out of the storm or if it was being guarded by TTV, but when they were able to get that kill just as the mana came back, it was like, great. All I need to do is run away from you right now. And that instant fortress was so big to keep away from that Felix that loves nothing more than to be in your face. And to go back, Stormbreakers played that end circle so well, but they had 2 missteps. The first being they were edge guarding 3 Little Pigs and didn't take into account the two-way tunnel. They popped the two-way tunnel, 3LP, able to get behind them. And all of a sudden, in that situation of having to refigure out what's going on, they forgot about the real threat of the map, and that is the train. Oh,
I
gosh.
love Bullet Train.
Symeri, what were your thoughts with that final circle? That was so crazy.
It was just Shin. Like Shin has a bit of a history with either gliding for fun or wanting to touch a train, while it's going at 150 miles an hour. Um, so
I feel like every region has that one player. They're so damn good at the game, but they forget about the train.
yeah, they had
You-
everything. They had everything in tow. Like the only thing
Mhm.
that was the thing that was actually really crazy. 3OP with the two-way behind SB, like going to the left-hand side, and it just brought them so much time. Perfectly, perfectly played. I don't know. That was so good. It just made it so SB were in the middle of that whole fight. Like
All right. So now I'm looking at what is going to be our next bands. We have two more that will be joining the bench. The last two. Okay. One I expected. Kingpin is banned. But
oh, okay.
Wait, is that the
Oh
actual
my
bans or are they
God.
just?
Shiv is the
Shit.
next ban.
Oh,
Not what I expected at all. I thought it would be Brawl that would be on the bench, but enough players playing that Shiv will really change up a lot for some of these teams. I am very excited about this. Well, yes, I am sad the Kingpin is lost. I am curious what players are going to do without Shiv. A lot of players that are Shiv mains, their fallback tends to be Jhin. And that could be what we start seeing here to crop back up the hold a lot of these teams. I know you're laughing, Symeri, but you know that's true.
that was me. No, that was me. I saw the high five little emotes that they're putting in the chat. So I think some people are actually genuinely happy with this pick. So no, I wonder what they're gonna do. How are people going to shuffle and maneuver? Aiden's big three hunters, for example, have been banned, but Aiden's a strong player. What's he gonna go?
I
And
also
these
just want to
teams
share the scoreboard
Mhm.
for a moment.
Oh,
On scuffed. Here we go. Do.
So,
Give me
you
a
can see it.
moment.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Download.
Not what you would expect.
This
at
is
all.
not the correct thing. Hold on.
I was
There we
like,
go.
wait,
That's
where's
not the-
Shy?
that's not-
We're
no,
missing
Nope, this
that's not
is
the correct one. The
from the
one I
last
have-
thing.
I was like,
So the-
Here we
the one I
go.
have.
The updated scoreboard.
So,
3LP in the lead.
3LP. Pensato, I'm gonna let you say this because
Okay.
I think the big surprise is where a couple of these teams are just falling shy.
I like that wording. You said after that first game, Shy was looking so dominant. 4 wins in a row. Now they are left in 4th place with not many more points than they initially had after that first game, only 39. First place, we've got Three Little Pigs with 68. Second place, we got Stormbringers with 57. Third place, we've got the Red Frogs with 46. And then after that, everything gets really close. 39 points for Shy, 38 points for Chew, 35 for TTV and LSD, 34 for LLL. So, like within a 5-point margin, there are 5 teams.
That is crazy to me. Like one, it's crazy that the Shy, a team that dominated Lobby 2 and had 90 points going into the finals, not even in the top 3 as we move into our final part of the Pensato is hosting a tournament with only 2 games remaining and the last bans being Kingpin and Shiv. What can you possibly have cooking for your teams that you can now bring here to the breach that you need to, especially if you're a team like the Shy, coming off of a massive victory in EGL yesterday, a massive start to the day today. Now they're down nearly 30 points from first.
they're probably going to be the most vocal ones against bans, or at least I wouldn't be surprised if they are going forward. But yeah, we have. Wait, how many games do we have left to play right now?
2.
That's why I thought 2 games left. You just have to turn it up to an 11, and I imagine they're going to be possibly. Well, do they play for the end game and try to win off score? He is in kill points. I I am so excited to see this because normally towards the end of tournaments, this is where again those on top, three little pigs, probably going to play it a little safer. The teams towards the bottom, hyper aggressive, and I think this is going to be a very potentially bloody day and night one that we're going to witness. Pensato. Symeri, it's all you on the mic, buddy.
Yeah,
Take it
the
away.
Jewel and Ghost are just ever present now, and the Brawls as
Brawl
well.
too.
Yeah, they're coming through in droves now.
That is the thing that is interesting to me, is seeing how much more we have teams moving towards Jewel, especially Brawl, Ghost. I expected that, but I thought Zeph would be the other. But teams instead moved to a slightly different mindset, as we see LSD already losing Shichi. Spiked down by Mist, dropped in the same spot. Now Levity, who's playing on that Void yet again, could not avoid the ire. Mist will start off strong with 2 kills early, and LSD struggling to escape from their danger zone.
Yep, gonna see how they should be able to make it out, because most teams typically want to go for levels, because you're gonna end up running into another team if you keep that chase up too far.
We'll see how these teams are going to now move around. It does seem that LSD do survive. They got 1 out of their alive. I believe Drama Brawl was able to get to Kobayashi, should be able to revive the team, and an uncontested northern part of the circle, so they can move up north, get that for themselves pretty easily. You see a little bit of a fight over one of the Guardians, Triple L. They were fighting early against Stormbringers, but not actually wanting to really take that fight to them. They instead peel back up, thinking they can go north, but it's LSD who are already there at Shards of Fate. Maybe they have to then peel to Dawn Camps, because I'm expecting that teams are going to try to hunt down the weak ones.
Yep, and it seems like Shy got this uncontested Cold Fang, so they're gonna have a bunch of money. And we see the final destination is just south of Enshrine as well, so we're going to have to see a lot of teams converging down as the circles start to close in.
Circles closing in. Teams now going to be pressured a bit early on, but as we have seen through most of our games today, that while there are these early moments of action, a lot of teams are able to survive. They can retreat pretty well, get themselves in. It's night 2 that we really start seeing our first teams getting eliminated. Teams before then are able to usually skirt some danger, as we're seeing right there with some of our teams nearby one another. And with this storm ship being final destination, the very last one will be Cross Country Storm for our final game of the Pensato is hosting a tournament. And I am glad. I love Bullet Train and I love Cross Country. I think those are the 2 coolest storms that we have. So ending on Cross Country is going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. I don't think anyone took a CAD, did they either? So
No,
I guess
no
the
one did.
circle was too far wide for that.
Mhm.
Well, the zone drop line, should I say?
See, now the teams are moving around at the moment. There's going to be some time before some of this action does come full circle for our teams. And as they're just playing a little bit slower, it is interesting to see some of the compositions for some of our teams. Onigiri here, having dropped the Felix. I thought Felix would still be their mindset going forward, but they decided instead that they need a little bit more support. So Onigiri instead going to be playing Zeph going into this game. And seeing some of our other teams, one of the teams that hasn't really shaken up too much of their composition, LSD. They only did last game where they swapped out that Ghost that Shichi has been playing most of the games for Kingpin 4-1, but now Kingpin is gone. Going back to the tried and true for the team.
Oh, MST on the downer here. It's got a back from Kuba at the end. So they're likely to get their team back up unless something happens there. Back in zone though, but it's only day 1, so you should be able to get back in.
Yeah, I should be able to. Like I said, it's early on. It's only day 1. It's always the part of the game where now that we're getting used to how Supervive plays, this is truly like the laning phase. Day 1, night 1, day 2 even, usually are the more calm moments where some teams are able to find some picks, like we saw on the kill feed that BBB were able to get a kill on Tom Kick, which we see LSD nearly taken down, but they were able to avoid some danger against 3LP as we go down towards the machine. And we see that TTV, Arian, Adamark, they're still alive, but Adamark is getting chased down by BBB. You got to be careful when you overcommit against a Krista and Felix combo. They can surprise you very quickly, and I think that's why they decide to fall back.
Yep. They might be running into another team though. True is just on the right of them. It's gonna have a quick peek down. Ooh,
And now teams
Adamark.
are Chu nearly finding Adamark, but he was able to avoid some of the damage. But here's Godfrey on the other side as they try to get away. But Adamark getting hunted down, trying to avoid. While Chu helping out. No! Godfrey was able to find the spike onto Adamark regardless. While the Ari does get away, Chu and BBP fight it out on the other side. Godfrey still on the other side, waiting to see if they can re-engage. They already got rid of Baroof, missing because the anomaly had actually juked away for Cat Girl Cafe Manager, giving BBB control. Dracos and Catgirl are not together, which means one of them is going to be easy pickings, and they look for the one with the gold powers, trying to skate away. Dracos has gotten to land, but there aren't the fans that might help you out just yet. They could start going already, expecting that that is the play. While Godfrey on the train, chased away by Triple L, the bunny will be able to survive.
Yep, and just in that while you were talking about that, 3OP lost Aiden there, so they're going to be looking for a res angle, and the new day approaches, so it's going to be a bit difficult. They actually choose to prioritize mobs instead of the getting Aiden back here, so the circle's still wide enough that there's a lot of res opportunities, but there's not too long left before things start to get a bit risky for teams who've lost someone.
And that's when we start entering into that danger zone we were talking about. Once you get into night 2, is usually when we start seeing our first teams fall, especially those that are struggling to find a foothold back into the breach. Red Frog's chasing Triple L, looking for the burst from Sun, but not ionized just yet. Blackrock has a Blinkstone, which is going to be nice, but you got to be able to get into the back line. Taking some damage, Spider Brawl separated, a nice anomaly to get back, but they are outside of the circle, and that is why they decide to scatter. They send Spider Brawl one direction, the other two another. You see on the kill feed, Mist were able to find a pick onto BBB, and in Mana Coils, 3LP, they revived Aiden, but they have only white armor. That is not going to look good up against the Stormbreakers, nor when Manic Academy join into the fray. A 3-way fight. Lots of second wins, but nobody is going to breathe life back into 3LP. Instead, they sent Aiden, the one to survive, away, hoping that that's going to be enough to bring back in the 3 little pigs. But now, they are on the brink already in this game, while Mad still staring down Stormbreakers. They've got gold armor onto Ibo. Aiden has been sticking onto the respawn, taking advantage of the 3-way fight that was happening earlier. So now back on their feet once more. 3LP try to get away. Matt had been chasing this entire time, but they have forgotten about the Stormbreakers on the other side. So Ibo is going to be the one taken down, and is now Mad who send one out to hopefully survive. Onagiri is away from Hans. Hans now going to be playing distraction, taken down by 3LP, who have forgotten themselves back on their feet. Might be able to collapse back for the kill confirmed, but SB deny the loot going over to 3LP. They don't want to give them any strength back into this game while they're fighting for control out in the desert.
It looks like SB are really challenging for their revenge from that last game with the train. We'll see. Nope, decided for a disengage. I'm gonna look south side again. Boss is
Looking at
now.
more of our teams here. Meteor Beasts have crashed, and is another shrapnel. FBI had been in control, but more teams are now moving down south to try to contend against that. And the FBI are struggling to get away. So how they want to move from here is going to be rough. You can see how teams are slowly moving down south. Our teams that are really separated into the northern part of the circle and the southernmost reaches of the circle as well. We see the Shy helping eliminate a squad. Our first one gone is Manic Academy.
Yep, they tried the TP play out of desperation right at the end, but Shy were there just waiting in the midst. And this soul, especially the way it's positioned, it's always awkward with the anomaly just being right there. So we'll see if any mishaps happen, including that, or involving that.
FBI trying their best to keep control of the Meteor Beast, but they have been pushed back, and it's going to be LSD pouncing upon their position with the help of TTV out of nowhere, trying to RKO FBI, but Lingo back with Zug, trying to see if they can get the Wisp, but not going to be able to get anywhere near, so Lingo down. Ju is going to be the last one, holding on to the island right outside, but TTV, they see the prey. They want to eliminate another squad, get more points for themselves, while Shrapnel Soul is in the eyes of the Shy. They want to get themselves in a better position and power themselves up.
Oh, TTV take that one.
They secure that, and we see on the kill feed another squad gone. BBB, they ran right into another squad, so they are eliminated, and then we go all the way to the northern part where SB had eliminated BBB. It's the other letter team in the LLL staring down Storm Breakers. Ashikata getting a nice blast back. That is going to be the dash back in from Storm Breakers. Spider Brawl has been separated. He tried to dash away. Might be able to avoid.
Oh,
Second
just
one
misses.
barely missing. Had that connected, that might have been a reset for SB. But now that not Black Frogs, that the Red Frogs are on their position, they're going to take down Gecko.
Oh, SB, they've got some res opportunities still, to be honest. It just depends on if TRF notice this circle around. I mean, they've just touched over this res, which is actually bad info to give to TRF. So
Yeah.
now even the res on Island is going to be likely contested. Now the res opportunities are looking really bad for them. Depends how much TRF want to chase that one.
And with 10 teams still remaining, it does seem that SB might have to go back to the drawing board on where they want to position. Though they have committed Deprek to the respawn. Ginseng on the other side, and guess what? Crashing upon, making sure that there's not going to be that revive. Deprek chased down, burning too, needing the flame as the burn is not enough. Deprek holds on until Azip finds his position.
I think if he didn't try the heal there, he might have been able to get away, to be honest. At least for a bit longer, but one of those unfortunate things. You may try and squeeze a heal in, and you're just out of time.
But I will say it's big that if SB are eliminated early here in game 4 of the finals, they are the second place team, and a lot of teams can easily start to close into the standings and try to see if they can get themselves within reach of not just second place, but maybe first. As right now, Three Little Pigs fighting against LSD, but Levithy will swap back while Aiden could be the one they want to target. Shroom and Clarny are on their own island. Mist has already lost Kyle Skinator as CTV are closing onto the position. Aiden takes the brunt of damage as shield to keep him alive, but that's why LSD try to pounce on him. He stays alive with the help of Shroom on the other side. Somehow 3LP going to avoid death for now while TTV try to chase down onto Levithy, but with the flame shield, it only is going to help out the other side until they have singularity. They've got a lot of damage with the nice vortex charm. Levithy surviving. No swap in time. It's just Shichi left for LSD as he tries to get over, but spiked down, eliminated by the Three Little Pigs.
Who's left on here now? We've got on SB, we've got Shin left, last alive. He's hiding in a
and-
bush, gets spiked.
Another team gone. A big one, too. Stormbreakers out at 9th. And to make it a lot easier for these teams to start moving up the standings, one of those that needs it is the Shy. The team that dominated Lobby 2 in groups, but has struggled since their Game 1 victory in the finals. Mist gone as well. We're seeing teams now dropping like flies.
Yep. And I felt like 3LP really took a passive stance during that fight. They knew that the third party was arriving, and you noticed that Aiden did not really use any skills or utilities. He only used the dash and then waited for Shroom to do his heals. So it was really really well played, I'd say, to not overexert too much force, because if another third party comes, they've got no escape mechanisms afterwards. So
Looking at the position, a lot of these teams are now going to try to lay claim of and how they're going to move around one another. We knew the final destination and that it was going to focus us here on a very treacherous area. A lot of abyss to play for as the Red Frogs cash in on Triple L to take down Ashikata, but Chu have been silently waiting it out, trying to move forward. See if they can catch anyone out of position, but not just yet. Just Cat Girl Cafe manager noticing Niza, who has a nuke that they could steal for themselves, while Triple L might buy themselves back into the game if they can grab a crown, but they're chased off of the base camp by the Red Frogs, and they are separated, meaning a nice dash forward to take down ZZ. But the Shy, as they're on the Wisp, are looking down Charge Up, who are jumping forward, but they're going to jump back to their little island they held control of before.
Yep, and we've seen Shy Hachi on the Celeste now. So he used to play Celeste a tiny bit back in the days as well. So we're going to see if he's going to getting those big chilling finales off. Or if he can exert the same pressure as he used to with Bishop, because they are basically doing well, apart from Yasser as well, swapping to Ghost. Sprokane's luckily not had his pick banned yet with the Saros. So,
and now that we are into our final 2 games, no more bans for the rest of the Pensato is hosting a tournament. So these are the final ones that you'll see. Pretty much the teams will stay the same, I expect, when it comes to what they want to play for their hunters.
Yep.
Shy They have been the team that has struggled the most, having dominated with the previous compositions they had for themselves. Once they've lost Smith and Bishop, they have been struggling, but now they're fighting back and they're collapsing back. But the Red Frogs will separate. Niza going to be jumped on by Chu, separated from the rest of the pack. But the Red Frogs aren't out just yet. While Niza might be down, the other two stand strong.
Making our way down to TTV now. It seems like 3LP are like beginning instigations or beginning sandwich, as the bread, shall I say, and then they're just kind of walking away at the last moment, forcing that filling to just get squashed out and, be in really bad positions.
No,
I don't think they
TTV
could do
may
it
be
in
a
this
little
scenario,
bit
though.
angry from the last game where
Too right.
3LP did beat them in that final 2, but it is going to be the Mega Avalanche rooting them down. 2 snowmen, I see, even with the boombox isn't enough. Everyone's standing there for the party, but waiting out until the music stops. That's when they get the crash back. 3LP trying to get away from TTV, but now that you've lost your defenses, TTV, they're the ones on the prowl with a nice flame shield, burning down the pigs. They're getting roasted here by the Fox. Only Clarny remains, and guess what? Spider Brawl has been waiting that whole time watching the battle as Clarny tries to get back over to the Abyss, but the hunt is there, and the pigs, their houses have been broken down, and they're not looking too good this time around. While the Shy have been eliminated by Chu on the other side, another team gone, attempting to respawn, but all the teams collapsing back. Clarny tried to skate away, but it's going to be Chu that clamp back and take down the winners from the last 2 games.
Oh, and Spider-Ball got his res cancelled multiple times there.
Oh, Adamar too, getting spiked by Chu. He was too aggressive. And now TTV, even if they beat 3LP, they are now looking down the Frogs. We're trying to see if they can jump back, but it might be the help out from Spider Brawl to bring back up Adamark and give them life once more. 3 teams remain. Chu up in the north. The Red Frogs are getting pinched, but guess what? TTV, they're just going to take the glide out of there. Let these 2 stand off for now as Cat Girl try to go for the dash in, but the Red Frogs disengage, waiting for TTV. The Ori realizing now they can try to see if they can punish, but the boombox a little bit too early. Might be the punch away with the baseball bat, trying to get some damage back onto them, but everyone's surviving for now. Same with the Red Frogs, who've gone back into the southern position, but they're scared of what might come from the north because they see a B-bow. They know the B-bombs, as well as TTV. Tonk play. It captures only one, but no one's getting dragged out into the storm. No damage just yet, while TTV are waiting to engage as well. No team wanting to be the bread, not the bread, the meat in the sandwich. They want to be the bread, and that's why they're all fanning out and waiting to see if they can find the better flank.
Yep, we're seeing that mega macro coming out from Tom Kick with this call out just out of zone. So they're going to be playing like the ultra slow game, really trying to force any central team like to be inwards. It just depends on how much pressure they can exert with this specific comp. We're going to see, because Tom doesn't have that KP, so he's going to have to try and get a big Vortex Charm or like Felix with a big ult here. Oh,
See right there. Jump pad has been put down. They've got a boombox, but do they put it down? It's a little bit late, and Tom's not in for the party. Instead, it's Chu to take down Tom. They push him back off of the boombox while Flight of the Firefox got Adamark away. Chu clamp back. They got the bite back, and they're dragging him into the storm to eliminate TTV. Red Frogs then pounce on to Cat Girl Cafe Manager to eliminate one more. Baroof might get res. They've got the immediate kill onto Bebo, leaving only one for Chu as the Red Frogs want to claim their first win. Draco's out in the storm alone, and it is victory for TRF.
Yep, Niza with their clay pigeon shooting there. You could just shoot every target that was 1 HP, get the kill. Oh my god, it's a field day for Saroses at the moment, especially in an endgame like this.
I mean, we're starting to see that Saros is there, and there have been a lot of players who have been mixed on whether or not they want to pick up Saros, because there are a decent amount of bugs that happen with the Hunter. But you can see why some players have been really putting in that time, because when you're able to make it work, it is so good. The range you get, the damage you're able to output, it's hard to even continually collapse onto Saros if he's able to portal away. Red Frogs, big victory for them here in Game 4, and with only one remaining. Kind of looking at the standings, I talked about it before. SB, they hadn't early exit in that one. 3LP, I think, what was it? They got 5th place in that game? The Red Frogs, the team that was in 3rd place, that's going to be a lot of movement upwards for them to try to close that distance they had from 1st place.
Yep. I think one thing that's really interesting that I was listening to Tredsy talk about some of the way that um how that comp works, or Shy's original comp. You know, they've got loads of explosive damage, right, with Myth and with Saros, and they've got the anti-heal. So as soon as a bit of poke has happened between any engagement with that team, you know, they're already like half HP or they're anti-healed. It just makes the fights just so hard to even begin with. Like you need like a jump pad engage or a bush engage to do something there. So we're gonna see like if there's something that can contest that eventually, you know, as the meta continues to evolve.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick break as we get ready for this final game, so I'm gonna let you guys talk for a bit.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. Okay, I have something I just want to point out, and it was a return to form with just an unfortunate end. TTV played that match almost like they were just angry. They saw red. Somebody accidentally tripped them. They were pissed, and they were just steamrolling that lobby, and they knew they had to because they were what, in 5th place overall in the standings. They knew they needed a game, and a game they brought. Just they were in that such unfortunate position at the end that they, in the 3-way standoff, had to make the first move, and unfortunately went out in 3rd. But everything prior to that, I loved what I saw from Team Turbo Velocity. But again,
Yeah.
like this, I'm so curious what the standings are because it's so close at the top. It has to be extremely close. I could not tell you if Three Little Pigs are still in first place or not. Like
I mean,
it's
I want them to take it personally. I feel like SB like slightly they underperformed. I feel like 3OP like have glimpses of underperforming, but then Aiden's always like picking up the helm at the last minute. Apart from that last game, you
Yes.
know, where he had to get rezzed, but in every other situation, you know, he was rezzing his team. So they were managing really good macro calls right in those end games where it really matters, especially in respect to rotations and like calling certain types of poke that are like, you know, forcing teams to like converge on each other. You know, that they kind of playing those mind games perfectly. I feel so far. And if they can
Ooh,
get to
Red
game.
Frogs. Look at the kills on Red Frogs right there too. I expected to see that on Three Little Pigs, but it's actually Red Frogs who came out with at least 12 kills that last game, which is a lot. That is a lot to turn it around for them. But you're right, like Three Little Pigs, it's hard to not cheer for them right now in the face of all these big bad wolves. They just keep surviving. And I can't even just say that it's just Aiden playing out of his mind. Aiden's playing out of his freaking mind.
Yeah, 100%.
But then like when he gets them up, they step up and start playing incredibly, and their footsies, their timing, they have the hands to keep securing stuff. And
Yeah.
just everything they're doing. Again, it's hard not to be a fan and not to cheer. But now let's look. Triple B, who has not performed the best this lobby, up against the Stormbreakers right out the gate for a fight, but they're able to grab the orb to get them all back up to full health. And now it's Shin trying to run away. They secure one. They continue the hunt down to Depberek. Depberek probably going to be able to get away. You're on Jewel. You're a fast hunter. As we look at Cold Fang, no, Depberek gets down, and Triple B back up in the north. All of a sudden, Stormbreaker's down to 1, and the poverty run continues. Is now Shy. Again, one of the hopefuls are not playing well, and Hatchie gets dropped by the Battle Bunny and Luna as Sprouted Brawl drives in. Yasser trying to kite away. One runs to the north, and it's surely going to be 2. He gets one, and he's continuing to fight. Will he be able to get away? I doubt it, but he's at least bought time for Sprokane to get away, maybe try to get up to Catacombs or somewhere where he can get this res off.
Yep. And as you mentioned, SB managed to get that res off in Cobra, but they haven't bought yet and don't have much money either. So they're gonna need to farm up a bit before they can like look for a fight again. And yeah, just at the start of the game, we saw like 4 teams dropping Cold Fang, so you know that got completely pillaged there, and the loot kind of evenly distributed.
And
something that we don't normally see, to be honest.
No, yeah, you're not wrong with that too. So we have Shy, who's a hopeful. Poverty run. Stormbreakers, big hopeful. Poverty run.
Right.
And it's so excited to see. But also, I do want to point out, we got an Illuna. Oh, we got to dive in right there. Tredsy goes down. The Red Frogs, another hopeful, dropping to TTV or losing one to TTV right there. But we also are seeing the Battle Bunny. We've got Illunas in the lobbies before we got Evas, and I am here for it. Let's show me the Monty Python Holy Grail Angry Bunny action right now. I love seeing the Battle Bunny.
I know Luca's a little sad to see the lack of Evas, but Pensato has a good point that when we look at the Three Little Pigs, Aiden on Shrike, going back to true classics. We're going back to closed alpha Aiden here with that Shrike pick.
And playing on lag. It's Shrike that would play normally in NA servers.
So here we are. It is our final game, and I'm glad you guys were all talking about like our hopefuls here that are struggling early on into Game 5 where the Pensato is hosting a tournament, because we had 3 teams that we were talking about: the Three Little Pigs, the Storm Breakers, the Red Frogs as our teams at the top, and 2 of those struggling right out of the gates is going to be big to shake things up, especially because when you look at Super 5, and at first you feel like a 20-point lead is a massive lead for any of these teams, but we have seen so many games where that has been completely negated by one team popping off in the final moments. The Shy, one of these teams that has been dominating earlier in the day, but it feels like the fatigue as well as the bans have started to get to them. TTV, a team that has been slowly scaling up in the tournament, looking at Red Frogs, and they want to eliminate a contender to the throne. But it's difficult for them to wade through the mires that is Mage Bog with the trees that are being put up. They couldn't pick up any kills, and now the Red Frogs scattering in 3 separate directions.
Looks like the fight's going to end Vein Grove. We've also got LSD, Triple L, and FBI, and SB topside. Who's anyone got level 7 is the question. We've got Zizi with level 7. It just depends on who's going to engage this fight. The stun comes in. Ooh, not too much more.
Nobody wanted to follow up on it to Drama Brawl. It's Spider Brawl who took a little bit more damage, and now Triple L in a bad spot as LSD try to punish them. But Ashikata and Zizi were able to escape. Spider Brawl coming in from the north. Triple L will hold on strong. They're not going to fall just yet. As we look at the other side, the Shy fighting up against Miss. It's just Cask left. Tries to hover wings away. Taking down Hachi. Battle Bunny down. Burn onto Sprokane. Mad can intervene. They go for the dash forward. And with the Tong cart from Cask, he tries to go into Kobayashi's. And we see that only Yasser remains for the Shy. Cask is waiting. Where's the sun? When's it going to be daybreak? You need a little bit more time getting the freeze on Onigiri, but now that Triple L have shown up, Cask, you're hoping the guards are going to back you up, but you're the first team eliminated in our final game.
Wow. You see who gets the steal here for the level 7. Oh, SB take this one.
Big!
Pivotally up here. Boombox picked up as well now.
They take the portal away, and Gecko barely alive too, putting down the boombox pretty much instantly to make sure they stay alive. And we look back up towards Kobayashi's as the storm is moving teams towards one another. Yes, sir. Brought back up Sprokane, but they are weakened. The Shy can get punished by the teams that are also migrating down south with the storm, but nobody realizing just yet how battered the Shy are at the moment.
Yeah, armor economy is not looking too good there. And I'm not sure their items are too good either at the minute, are they? Well, let's have a quick look. Yeah. I mean, Sprokane's missing one completely, so...
If I may, and I am so sorry to interrupt, but we have a score update.
Yeah.
And it is in our top 2 positions, the Red Frogs at 80, Three Little Pigs at 79.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then Stormbreakers and Charged Up at 63 and 62, respectively.
Ooh.
So... Our top 4 are close, but our top 2 are as close as it can be.
EU and exciting final games of tournaments. Name a more iconic duo. I dare you, because every time it feels like there's a tournament in EU, you get to the final game, and it is always fun to watch. Gecko couldn't get the boombox in time. Eye of the Storm popped to try to get that Barek away, but guess what? Manic Academy, there's a collapse back. Storm Breakers down to 1. TTV regroup in the Mage Bog as Academy Squad tries to chase them down. They pop their own Eye of the Storm, looking for the surge, but they are kept at bay for now. A lot of damage. Second win won't be able to tag down the damage to be able to pick up the kills, but instead, Manic Academy are going to escape the Mage Bog. TTV hot on their heels. LSD hearing the fighting. They want to join in. Academy struggling to get away. Down to only Ibo, but he's dragged right back in with the flame shield. Then LSD on the other side to pinch back onto TTV. Singularity might miss, but it's not going to be the miss on that kill. Like a burn from Adam
Get the resets.
to remove one more team. LSD now, they are looking to see if they can beat TTV, but they realize they've gotten the resets. They've gotten time to get away, and they will let them reset.
That was big. So TTV is in that position where, what are they sitting at? 5th right now, and it's a pretty hefty 5th to get to. So they need a first place with like a 20 kill drop minimum. They understand the assignment and they were going for it. That flank to cut off the escape route was so beautifully done. They eliminated the team. They got those extra points, and they're just trying to poise themselves to run over the lobby. Because TTV, if you want to get back to old form, oh, the spike! And Triple L is out. But if you want to get back to form, you've got to run over the lobby.
This is the problem that TTV will face. They are 25 points away from first place. Even if they have a dominating performance, the teams that are above them, the Red Frogs, the Little Pigs, Storm Breakers, Charge Up, all of them are still in this final game. And the longer they stay up, the more points they can collect and make it even more difficult for TTV to come out of nowhere to steal away the prize. And now they're fighting against the Red Frogs, who already got the Ori. A boombox put down while Niza might be revived. It is the fight inside of the boombox. TTV couldn't deny the revive onto Niza, and that's why they decided to separate. Adamark picking up a crown, but here's the portal with the flame shield. Adamark, where's the flight of the Firefox? None to be seen, and they are down to only 1. There's a fight up in the north. The Shy fighting against BBB, and BBB, it's their own flight of the Firefox, unable to deny the Shy, as they will remain in this final game.
The level 2 on Felix was just not quite enough to secure that, and Shy clutching out a huge fight. But look, FBI and 3 Little Pigs, again, these teams on top understand they cannot be complacent. It is too close, and FBI may have to be the next victims. I don't know who started the fight, but I know 3 Little Pigs want to finish it right here.
But look at this, LSD. This could be the team that could come out of nowhere if they pull off the most miracle run ever, and they are eliminating squads. They're taking on the Shy. They've got Sprokane, but the Wisp dropped by the Bunny. As the Bunny no longer there, it's only yes, sir, for the Shy that has to pull off a miracle.
The question is, what res opportunities do they have? They're going to try maybe full north side or the train res potentially here.
And I feel like they might have enough time on that northern respawn beacon. They see the train is coming down as well. And it is actually going to be the attempt on a train respawn.
Yep.
But with so many teams surrounding it, I'm wondering if anyone is going to try to deny. I already see the movements. But FBI, they stare down LSD. And do they want to peel back to deny a res? It seems like them and LC are contemplating it, but yes, sir, will it get the Shy and the team back up? They've already lost 1, but it's the fight that is still going for LSD to chase down Lingo and Swag, who's gone up to the north with Charge Up coming out of nowhere. Almost is able to third party it, but FBI, they still live.
We've seen armory sets coming in from Shy as well, so they've they hopped off at the opportune time. They've got their pad placed as well to jump over. And they're maybe rotating around looking for some leftovers from all these fights that have happened just on the left of Hot.
Maybe they could even look for round 2.
Out. I do appreciate that call because they had the opportunity to jump off, get a free third party, but they knew in their weakened state it was best not to. And who was that got eliminated? Was it FBI?
FBI.
Okay.
Looking at the
these
teams
extreme zone pools. Oof.
And I will say, looking at the teams remaining, TCV, their miracle run has been denied. It is up to these two right here that are at the top of the standings. The Red Frogs, SB sitting right now in third place at 63. They're able to beat them. That's going to be big for them. But we look at the Shy, one of those teams that is in the top four as well, top six as well. But they need a huge play, and LSD are not giving that to them. They win round 2. Hachi might be able to escape the only battle bunny remaining, but it's a long ways away to be able to survive. And with the cross-country storm soon to push them in, it's going to be difficult to see if the Shy can even survive.
Not wrong. I'm just trying to take a look at the standings. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the top 4 at least are still in. TTV eliminated along at their hopes of like making that miracle run, but they had to play aggressive, so you can't fault them there. But let's see, are the Red Frogs going to try and push in right here against Stormbreakers to eliminate them? Really gives you just that. Well, if either of these teams go out now, their tournament win is probably gone, right? I can't imagine if you go out in 6 that you're going to win.
Any of these teams. It's pretty much you have to win right now for
Yes,
any
winner
of
take
these
all.
teams. It is a winner take all. The only hope for any of these teams, especially for those at the top like the Red Frogs or 3LP, is if LSD come out of nowhere and win this one. And they are hunting kills. Hachi targeted elimination on one more squad.
Oh, poor Shy. They started off so strong. What was it? 4 in a row, almost 5 in a row. And then the Bens came in, and so did their tournament hopes. But look at this. LSD also dropping to Charged Up.
Oh. And that, I think, was like the only hope for some of these teams that held on to the top of the standings as like a maybe even if we don't win this game, we can still win the tournament, is if LSD are the team that wins. But they all want to take fate into their own hands. They don't want to give that over to LSD and a hope and pray. Instead, they want certain victory, and they want to win it through this final game of in the finals of Pensato is hosting a tournament.
Look at what 3LP are doing right now. They're actually like surrounding and pushing them into the storm and into a wall and trying to manipulate where the Red Frogs are going. And now, although they're backing away, now Charged Up is here. They're really good. That's one of Aiden's strengths. He's really good at manipulating where other people go. But I think he realized like, hey, there might be pinks to the south. Let's put Gnarled Heart is down.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, and I'm glad you pointed that out, Symeri, because with Cross Country Storm, I was curious where the heart would be placed. So we will be going back to End Shrine after this next one, but it's Cross Country. It's still a lot of movement for these teams regardless.
You're right, they're gonna have to move up and Charged Up. They kind of put themselves into a corner here where the Red Frogs are just going to take free pot shots at them because everybody else is too distracted. 3LP having to quickly move south as they found themselves in the middle of LSD, and I'm assuming that's Stormbreakers, yes. But look at this, Charged Up has nowhere to go.
No, they got everywhere to go. The Storm right now favoring them. Look at how it's moving with Chu. Red Frogs, they're in position. We see Stormbreakers. They'll be able to get in the north into the circle. The only team not in position is 3 Little Pigs as they are trying to go through LSD. Who are able to get back up on their feet. Shroom is going to be down. He might be revived, but Shichi maybe looking to see if he can play aggressively, but the rest of his team is in danger. That's why they had to get away, nearly landing the arcane railgun out of Shichi. But all teams still looking strong. Only one missing a member.
High play coming in here on Chu against TRF.
Having locked down the control, but yeah, like you said right there, they didn't lock down the burn, but only one left, and the Red Frogs eliminated your first place team going into the final game, out at 5th.
That's so big. That opens up the door so much for 3LP to run away with the rest of this tournament. But look, they find themselves pinched between two teams. This is a really tough spot for Aiden on the Shrike.
Trying to get the second win, and Chu coming in from the south, but they are looking for 3 Little Pigs. They are gonna be in this fight while LSD staring down the Stormbreakers. Nuke Getting LSD off of their base camp, it's going to be difficult. Kashichi not with the team. He had to go for the long glide away, but he's pushed into the burning zones, taking a kill for themselves. Chu just want to pick up the kills and pick up the win, while the three little pigs try to see if they can flank onto Stormbreakers. With the corrupted zone, we are going to be going back to Enshrine, but it's still going to be pulling a lot of these teams. Neither they couldn't get away. The swap back onto Drama Brawl, but they didn't see the Brawl. He could go for the Wisp respawn, but now the Cat Girl manager is there. It's going to be Drama Brawl on to the crown to try to get away. Might be able to have a heroic play, but I don't know what's going to happen right now when they're all pinpointed onto you. LSD only have the hope of Drama Brawl as the Storm. We see where it's going, and it's going to be quite the migration.
I want to take a look
Holy.
at Charged Up right here. Look, double souls, gold and red equipment, red powers. Charged Up is sitting so strong right now. Comparatively, everybody else is looking fine, but Charged Up, and they have a powerhouse soul combo, no less, too, with Damage Soul and Shrapnel Soul.
Look at Drama Brawl, too, trying his best to escape. Second wind! Enough damage. One more down. And the three little pigs. Two. Stormbringers, your last three. If you're Stormbringers and Chu, you might want to start working together and get rid of 3LP. They were the team 1 point behind the Red Frog, sitting at second place in our point standings. Both Stormbringers and Chu, they might be in the top 4, but there's quite a gap between them and the top 2.
You're right. It was what, like about a 20-ish point gap between them. And now with 3LP still surviving for that top 3 placement points, they have to assume they're winning this, but you can't risk it. And you're right. Will these two teams know to like subtly work together? Maybe just try and push 3LP into the other one. But it's also that pride of wanting to win, because if you fight, if you jump on the sword of trying to take out 3LP, you leave yourself vulnerable, as we've seen every single one of these matches. When it's final 3, the first to engage, no matter how good or set you are, the first to engage has been the one to lose consistently. Will that ring true here in our final match?
The Stormbreakers, they are back in Enshrine, the team that placed down the Gnarled Heart to deny Cross Country Storm. While we did get quite some movement beforehand, we will start honing in on the base camp that SB set up earlier. Three little pigs have moved in the north, while Chu look to see if they can collapse back, missing the home run bat, but they've got a little bit of damage. Drake goes, I'd have to get back towards Prisma to heal up for now. It could be a round 2 and look for another Boogaloo against 3LP, while SB have been waiting it out this whole time. And now 3LP surrounded. Chu in the north. Cluster nuke send down. They try to get the portal back into Enshrine. They've taken control of the high ground away from SB. Snipe onto Shin. One down. But Chu now in the desert. They can push back onto SB. Do they want to eliminate that squad, or do they want to look for 3LP? It seems that they're still questioning on that as well. While SB might be able to pick up the crown, no, they don't get there in time. Chu, see the weak team. They want to take them out, get some points for the team. Gecko split away. Crown picked up by Deparek, and they've got Gecko while they're looking to see if the Felix is going to be able to win against Jewel, but Jewel was able to get away. But only for how long? Deparek up in the storm collapsing around them. Another team gone. Only the three little pigs and Charge Up remain. Three little pigs, the team in control. Winning this guarantees them the win as well.
Three little pigs taking the portal and spotting a wild Zeph that appeared. I didn't know why Shin wasn't with the team. I don't know what they were setting up, but it was so favorable for 3LP in the end. And now look, as they just push and they have so much presence. They have the base camps, they have the chonker cannons, and they're just trying to see if they have what it takes to take out or take down Charged Up.
They're looking for these home run bats. They're pushing in with the flame shield on one side, and nuke sent down to try to make sure there's no retreat for 3LP. Burn everywhere. Aiden taking the damage, but Clarny was able to get away with Anomaly. Shroom trying to push him away, but they gotta be careful. Aiden's low. Headshots land. Aiden finally burned down. 1-for-1 trade. B-bomb landing.
GA.
Burn from the Zeep with the pull in the chain from Baroof. While they try to escape, Shroom has revived Aiden, but guess what? The rest of Charge Up take victory in the final game.
Go charged up the entire time. They were setting themselves up for success in that final circle. And Aiden did such a good job using the bird bomb to just like manipulate and move and get people to not want to go in areas. So they have to shuffle. And in spite of all that charged up, again, they grabbed the souls, they grabbed the equipment, they grabbed everything they needed. And they played so patiently at the end. They didn't overextend. And when they saw their window, they saw the opening, they pounced on it. That was so well played by them. GG, and also GG, as I'm going to assume that Three Little Pigs are our
Me too.
tournament winners.
Me too. Well, two great final performance. In the end, it doesn't really matter because there's too many points separating you and 3LP to begin with. You were down, what? I want to say 16 points to them? 17 points. They were down 17 points
Yes.
to 3LP. So even with the first place, which gives you that bonus 5 points, I don't think that 3LP did not get any kill points themselves.
Yeah, that'd be a very, very tall ask. Symeri, so going into that, the final like 3 or 4, was there anything you noticed that like really stood out to you?
It was just that last or the second last fight where Shin got picked. I kind of understand what SB were trying to do. They had was it Gecko, I believe, trying to give vision from the top side, top left side, and he kind of played back behind his team. And then, or maybe it was Shin, I can't remember. It was one of the two. And then Shin ended up getting picked off like instantly when 3OP collapsed on it, and it just left them in such a bad position afterwards. The 3OP played that really well.
I almost wonder if they kind of forgot about that little portal that was right there for 3LP to take. It's like, yeah, there's a giant wall. I'm safe. They have vision on them. And 3LP, they had their backs against the wall for that brief moment. And then all of a sudden, just a gift on a silver platter when they did take that portal and just took the leg of SB right there.
Right.
Yeah, as my brother pointed out, a lot of taunts.
So, I think it's only appropriate, since Pensato is hosting the tournament, we let Pensato tell everyone who the winners are. I don't know if the points have been all calculated up just yet, but
The
I want to hear
points
from Pensato.
have not been fully calculated yet. I'm waiting for a DM. But I do just want to say, while we wait for the points to come in, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you all for casting. This was an absolutely amazing series to watch. I was grinning in my chair, just oh, so much excitement, hard to contain it. This was absolutely phenomenal. So shout outs to Twin A, MadMagical, and Symeri for the cast. This was awesome. And also shout outs to Spokane, Izuna, and Reliq. They helped me set up this event and get me in touch with the right people and help sort out all of the details with the Google Docs and calculating points and making sure all the teams sign up and we're checked in and all of that. So huge shout outs to them. Also, I had a couple people ask me, why did I want to host a tournament in Europe instead of North America? And I just wanted to give some love to the people who helped teach me this game back when I was first competing. Tom Kick and I did VOD reviews that are still up on his channel today. Aiden taught me so much. OC15 was one of the first big alpha testers to help teach me the very basics of the game. So huge love to all of them, and also my friends, Arcane, Treadsy, Dracos, all of them. So huge love to the European Supervive community. You guys raised me. So thank you so much.
That's sweet. That's why I wanted to hear from you. as OC15 said, the Pensato lore. We get to hear a lot of the Pensato lore here, and a lot of love out to EU. Like, EU definitely has been stepping up big, especially in the recent like tournaments that we've been seeing, not just with the performances that we've been seeing, but also just with the signups. Like, Abyssal Cup 2 had what, 36 teams sign up for that? An absolute insane amount that we saw, where there's 3 groups played in that tournament, and we had that tournament go down all the way to the final game, where we had a bunch of teams within like 5 points of one another. Couldn't ask for a better way to have things. Like Reliq said, we also have the upcoming Sunday night Vive for EU. That's going to be really awesome. It's the most subscribed night Vive since January for North America.
Holy.
Wow.
This really is turning into the summer of Vive, like we talked about. Was it yesterday? Like so many
Super
tournaments,
Vive, baby.
Yes, the summer of Super Vive, as we have what 4 weekends in a row with tournaments on every weekend and people stepping up. I love to see it. Shout outs to everybody who hosts these, because that's not easy to do, and the people that set up the daily scrims and keep this game alive and going and thriving as we gear up for 1.0. GG's to all of you. Pat yourselves on the back. As a spectator, I love this so much. GG's, everyone.
Shout-outs to Treadsy, who does a lot of the EU scrim setups. So it does a lot to make sure the community is staying on top of things. Tom Kick, we've already shouted them out as well. Amazing for the community, has done a lot. And I know obviously Sprokane has been doing a lot of tournaments. Izuna has been making sure that there's a lot going on. Zugswag's held a couple of tournaments. There are a lot of amazing people in the EU. I mean, we pretty much go down the list of everyone who played today.
Gugu
and shout them
Saya
out.
in France.
Exactly. So it's like Minato 2 in France. It's like there's so many in the community that we can continually shout out.
Well, everybody, we've got the final score, so let me swap this out. Where is it? There we go. First place,
Nice.
3 Little Pigs, 99 points. Second place, surprisingly close, Charged Up with 93 points.
That win at the end was big.
They were down 17 points going into that final game. Just so everyone knows, going within 6 points of first. Shout out to Chew.
Absolutely. And that was with all of the bands, like Kakarot Cafe Manager, we know for their Kingpin, and they were busting out the Felix and popping off in this final game.
Wow, that's crazy. The Red Frogs too, still finding themselves in 3rd place. Like, just looking at how close the top 3 are. Well, SB, TTV, Shy, they end up falling into the top 6. Still great performances across the board for our teams, just making it into the finals to begin with.
I mentioned this at the start, but I love the EU scene for how stacked they are and how seemingly top heavy they are. You don't know who is going to win. You don't know who's going to make the top 8 most of the time, because everybody is just so strong. And even like, let's look at BBB. Last game, underwhelming finals performance, and they dropped straight in. And it was SB, I think, or TRF. I forget which one. I think it was SB, that they just were like, cool, we're fighting. We can't win. We are going to take away your chances as best we can, and won that initial fight because they are so strong and they just didn't have their tournament today. But it's like, we can't win, but we can try to prevent you. And I love seeing that they know they can pull that off. So as the scenes continue to grow and get stronger, I'm expected to see teams like that all of a sudden be the like, they won? They won. Of course they did.
For sure. Well, with that, everyone, this concludes the Pensato is hosting a tournament, now to be referred as the Pensato hosted a tournament. I do have a bit of an announcement. I will be streaming again later today. I've been invited to North American Scrims to sub in for the old Passion Fruit squad. I'll be playing with OC15
way.
and Waterblaze, so I'll make sure to stream that later today.
What?
Solo No Fill continues on Tuesday. Anything anybody wants to say before we find someone to raid?
Follows are free. Follow Pensato if you haven't yet. That's all I got.
Sweet, love it.
Thank you for having us. This was a blast. Magical, you are the best caster in this scene, in my humble opinion. And Symeri, you are so brilliant. I'm just going to go back and listen to any VOD you have and try to learn from you. Like, you're just
Sure.
so good.
Appreciate it, dude.
All right, I'm tired. Oh, that was good. That was fun.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We're going to raid Baruf. Everyone congratulate him or them on an amazing final game.
Chat.
Here we go.